The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First and foremost, he is a riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him, but love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
All right, what's up?
Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Mag.
Hey, what's up?
There it is. There it is. As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Shout out to Oz. He won't be with us today, I don't believe. But who knows? Maybe he'll show up in chat. You never know with Oz. Sometimes that happens, right? But either way, we got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about the Woman of Marvel, #1. The Marvel woman-centric, or woman-focused, I should say, book for 2022. We're going to be talking to you all about the Nice House on the Lake. And we are going to be talking to you all about, I should say the series, the comic book series, The Nice House on the Lake. I'm not sure how many of those issues we're going to cover, but there's a few of them. So who knows? It depends on what we read. And we're going to be talking to you all about the Boys Diabolical, which is the animated anthology on Amazon Prime. So we're going to talk about all that, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show wouldn't exist, period. So thank you, Scott. Yeah, so let's get to it. Gents, how y'all feeling?
Yeah, it's all right. Well, actually,
Mo's taking the appropriate Oz role.
I'm speaking for Jay, but I'm good.
There it is. That's fair. It's good to be here with you all. Like, I don't know. Sometimes from week to week, I guess, and this might be more about what I go through in my personal week. Sometimes it feels a lot longer between Wednesdays than others. And this feels like it was a long time between Wednesdays.
It's one of those.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh man, it's so good to see you.
Mine went by quick.
Yeah,
but you know how it is.
I mean, kinda, maybe, a little bit.
I mean, I'm not even sure I know how it is.
Right. Like, that's how I feel sometimes too. And it's like, I'm just out here trying to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I'm on the East Coast this week, and that might be a reason why it feels a little longer too.
Plus
literally,
the time. They changed the time.
They did change the time, and plus, I'm just like, I'm further away.
Hopefully for the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. There might be, which that's an interesting thing. Like, I mean, we could definitely deal. Like, we don't need to do the daylight saving things, obviously, but I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes we make a bigger deal of it than need be, but I get it. Like, it's weird. Like, I get it when people are like, why do I need to like be in the dark doing stuff that I could be doing in the light, right? Like, so makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, if everybody just worked 8 hours, then we'd be straight. We wouldn't need the time change.
True. I think we should have people working less than that.
Yeah, but then we got to deal with them.
It's like people trying to stay away from their partners and stuff. They're like, nah, 8 hours.
I need an excuse to not hang out with Larry. Too busy working. My boss is a dick.
No, man.
Honestly, I could use less hours at work And I'd have more time for TV.
Right. Because Lord knows you're not spending enough time watching television, right, Jay?
I'm kind of not. Like, do you know how long it's taken me just to watch like 6 episodes of From? Like, way too long.
How is that?
Dude, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me want to go watch Lost.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good this shit is.
It's
It
like
makes you want to go watch Lost.
Yeah, because
it's made by the people. It's made by the people that made Lost.
Oh.
And I didn't watch Lost the first time around, but this shit is so good that it's making me think like, man, maybe I should go back and watch it.
Yeah, and the thing is, they do it well, whereas Lost, it was more about like not knowing that kept you asking more questions, and they didn't have answers.
Yeah, I mean, Lost. Oh, go ahead.
Then when they did, they weren't sufficient.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Where it's like some amazing setups and some cool character interactions, and you're just like, wow, when this stuff pays off, it's going to be spectacular. And then it's like, oh, it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I want to watch. I want to watch From, and I want to watch. There's another one called I can't remember the name, but it has Courtney Cox in it, and it's kind of like a horror comedy type possession thing. And,
okay.
Okay, well,
you know what else?
I got to put From on the list.
You know what else came out, which I believe just came out today? Mushoku Tensei, the what's her name? Eris OVA just came out on Funimation today.
Wait, what is that? What is that?
What is it? It's a Mushoku Tensei is an isekai, pretty popular. It's got a bunch of spin-offs in the manga, and it just got us anime spin-off.
What is an isekai?
Exactly. Like I'm definitely not the anime guy anymore, right? Or ever was.
I think Jay mistakenly, when I told him I was a dweeb, mistakenly heard weeb.
Isekai. Isekai is when you get killed and you get reborn into a fantasy world.
Oh, gotcha. The genre, okay.
Or you just get summoned into a fantasy world. Like Shield Hero was an isekai.
Yeah, I like Shield Hero.
Even it kind of like the John Carter of Mars type of thing too, right? Like that. It's not necessarily, but that's kind of that genre.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Or the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah, that's an isekai.
Yeah, turns out I love isekai.
Yeah, isekai is great. Like,
Issa loves you too, well. Issa loves you too.
Yeah. I thought isekai was in Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah, it's good, and the OVA is out on Funimation.
Sweet.
Okay, cool. It looks like we have a caller. Like, caller, tell the people who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about.
Why are you triggering me, Marion?
Uh-oh.
What's it, isekai? This has been going on for years and years.
I just don't know the Japanese name for it.
Man, you need to research your cabinet more, man, because they're not telling you the right stuff, man.
No, listen. It's not. I won't even place the blame on my cabinet. Like, they do their job. Jay always tells me about isekai. I just don't remember.
I know for a fact Carl Rove told them about isekai.
It was in my 10-point plan. I just never got to number 10.
Quantum Leap is an isekai, technically.
Why is Quantum Leap isekai?
He's basically transported from his life into
another one, not of his making. Only he had to do it every episode, but it's basically the same concept. That concept's old as time.
Oh wait,
so Sliders? Can Sliders be considered an isekai?
Sliders could be close, yeah.
Oh no, see, no. Like,
No, the concept is what I'm talking about. So you know what isekais are. You've seen them, but you
no,
just got
no.
to put two and two together.
I just had to
Oh,
be reminded of the definition of
so like
isekai. Like, if I lied to you, I was like, "Oh, we talking about a
Yeah.
show?"
a
I
kid in
don't think
King
I've seen the
Arthur's
episode of
court.
isekai.
A kid in King Arthur's court is isekai, right?
Yep.
Or
That
is that
one.
just
Yeah.
time travel?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, isekai is just another world, and then put whatever concept you want that applies to that mechanism, and you have your own story. So yeah, the original Dungeons and Dragons qualifies, but
Right.
this one, the English translation is jobless reincarnation. It's the granddaddy of the modern isekai in Japan. That's why it's so big. And the fact that, yeah, yeah,
Why
because
jobless?
it's a shut in, dies and gets reincarnated into a new life as a second shot. So he's jobless and reincarnated. That's
Oh,
the
Man.
whole genesis of the play. But
Ugh.
they've been, I don't know how big of a budget they had, but they've been burning all the money on this show. The animation is ridiculous. So yeah, and then they went and did another season and they spent the same amount of money. It's like, it's not like what they did to One Punch Man when they tried to cut the budget a little bit and not make it as beautiful. This one, they got the whole budget, and then this OVA tells a side story part of one of the characters that happened in there. So
now why would a popular show get its budget cut?
yeah, business.
Yeah, the talent wants more a raise. Yeah,
That's not happening in Japan. Them guys are barely eating. All them artists are getting flogged, man.
I'm just saying. I'm like, it's like if the show's popular, at the very least, you give them the same amount of money that you get that it was before. It's like inflation will make it so that that's less money.
You
You're
gotta
like, but
stop.
do it again, right? You did it last time for this money, so do it this time for this money
Yeah,
again.
you got to stop applying logic to business.
They go mess around and be like,
And-
okay,
And that
we
F
gotta-
word, fairness. What's that F word?
Yeah, Larry's looking through the eyes of an imperialistic economic market that we live in.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying, like, I get the idea of, like, people want to make sure that they don't, like, splurge, but I'm just like, okay, if you had something and it turned out good, like the old phrase is what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
the thing. It's
And it's
when
like-
at some point when you want to make more money and there's no money to make because it costs to run it, you just have to cut costs. And
And I'm
where you
saying
gonna cut it?
that's how you sabotage. That's how you sabotage your good thing, right? You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, that thing was amazing. Good. You know what? This is working for us.
But
Let's
see,
go
and
ahead
that's the thing. Like,
the
I
budget.
don't know how it works in Japan, but I get the feeling that the networks or studios contract the people making a show, whereas here you can make it, get a production company to make it, and then shop it around, get it in a different outlet, and then do a 1-year contract, and keep up in giving that network having the privilege to show it. Whereas here, I think in Japan, what it sounds like to me is that the studio says, here, do this and keep doing it in perpetuity, and give me what I want if you want your shit shown. Yeah,
Got it.
but I don't know for a fact. That's just my business savvy.
Yeah, I would like to know myself. That one anime Bakugan gave us a little bit, but that was more on the manga side than the anime side. So yeah,
but it might be similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, so yeah, so this OVA has been, yeah, the people have been waiting for this story, because it's like when a character takes off and comes back and you never see what they did, but they talk about it. Every once in a while, you'll see you'll see it in like some movies. They'll show what that character actually did. Yeah,
Gotcha.
like this. Yeah, that's what this
Okay.
OVA is doing.
So Jay, I apologize for being ignorant yet again. Now that I understand the definition of the majority of the words that you were saying that first time, can you tell me again, like, what I should be watching and why I should be excited?
Jobless reincarnation. Yeah, like, it's about a guy who gets reborn. And fair warning, there seems to be a little bit of division between the people that like and dislike this show. There is a point of contention where the guy gets like reborn as a baby, but he like still has all his memories from his 30 years of life.
Yeah, it was like 35 or something like that. Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah,
that
and
happens.
so some people are like, they get a little, they feel a little weird about him because he's still like going out with like young girls and stuff
As a baby?
well,
as he gets older.
The story goes through his whole life. So he's meeting people. He's like oogling the like in the first part of the story. He's oogling the housekeeper because she's well endowed. So the housekeeper thinks it's a strange baby staring at me. No, it's a 35-year-old man looking at your goodies. It's like it's that kind of stuff. So it's a little etchy. It's a little etchy,
And he does end up having sex with like his 15-year-old girlfriend, and people are like, he's a 30-year-old man in a 13-year-old body.
In a 15-year-old body, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's 13. The whole mental thing. Yeah. So.
But it's still like people trip over that.
Typical American overanalysis, So
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
But even from the forum, like, I feel like Oz, this will be a huge problem for him. Like he had a problem with old, where they're like adults, but they were kids like a little while ago, and so he was getting all creeped out. Like you got people like him that are like, no, it's a 35-year-old, 45-year-old man having sex with the 15-year-old.
I mean, listen, it's not our job to help Oz work out his like pedophilic tendency. That's not for us to do. Like he needs to pay a good therapist for that.
Like he's Catholic. Didn't they do that in the old times?
You're hilarious. Listen,
like they marry off the 15-year-old girls to the older dudes.
No, that's not false.
But I think one of the things that is interesting about the show is, like Zeno said, is like it's basically going through his whole life. Like from a baby, like we see him at different points in life, learning magic and learning how to fight. He can't really fight that well. But we see him like progressing, learning, growing up.
Yeah, like the dangers of teaching somebody who knows magic, physics at the same time. So he's applying his knowledge as 35-year-old from here, Tokyo, who went through a normal education. And here he is, a 5-year-old who actually can manipulate water and some elements. Oh, if I do this and this, it'll be that. Yeah, it gets dangerous. So he's quite powerful just because he knows water and certain things mix well together, and nobody else really thinks about it. Since he's got an outsider point of view, he comes up with some new stuff, and it makes him somewhat famous. And lots of stuff like that. So
nice. It looks like we're reviewing that next week, huh?
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of, and it has some Game of Thrones elements to it too, as far as plot too. So that kind of keeps people going as far as what the hell is going on there. So, yeah, there's a little bit for everybody.
Nice,
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Zeno, while we have you, I did see your comment in chat talking about your old jet. What were you trying to say about this whole jet?
Oh, that's modern politics. I was just shouting at Jay. Hey, my old jet showed up on TV, and we don't get too much press because we're Strategic Air Command. You're not supposed to see that jet because if you see that means shit's really going down. And they say, oh yeah, they're launching AWACS here and there. It's like, oh shit. So
wow.
Yeah, it's NATO. NATO has AWACS too, so they're watching everything that happens in the air. So that's just. And they let them do a tour of the jet. That's a classified jet, so they let cameras in there. I'm like, oh shit, this is for real, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you had to have a secret security clearance to get on that jet and work. And they let the press in there to look at the new consoles. Like that stuff I haven't seen because I left already. And I'm like, ooh, they ain't got CRTs no more. They got flat panels and all this stuff. Like, damn, they upgraded. They got normal keyboards and stuff. The keyboards I used were old school. And you need like 10 pounds of pressure to push down each button. Now they got normal keyboards like we do. It's like, man, these new kids got it easy, man. It's like, so,
right.
They even talk to somebody in surveillance. Nobody talks to us. We're like the bad kids in the back of the bus. Nobody talks to us because the action ain't happening down there. We're busy hitting everything up. It's the weapons guys, all the officers in the front, and the colonel in the front. They got all the political stuff, so they talk there. Like they talk to the surveillance section. What the fuck's going on?
What do you say, Jay?
Yeah. I was actually just happened to be looking online a little while ago to find out my old ship's address.
Mhm.
And I found out that it's been decommissioned and sold for scrap.
Oh, what? You weren't on the Kitty Hawk, were you?
No, I was on the Austin.
Okay, because the Kitty Hawk going away too. It's the
Oh,
last
okay.
the last diesel driven carrier is going to sleep. So they're all nuclear now.
So-
Nice.
What are you about to do, Jay? Are you about to go find the scrap and like go pee on it or something? What are you trying to do?
No, I just thought it was interesting. Like, it's not interesting, but it is kind of surreal. Like my place of work is scrapped now.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice
we
if I
buy
could
it
have
and live
bought
in
it.
it?
Say again?
Can we buy it and like live in it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's been broken down by now. Like I found out, like I just found out about it recently, but it was like sold years ago.
Can you
Like,
imagine
Hey,
this-
hey,
it would've been
the Kitty
awesome,
Hawk
like-
was sold for like pennies, and it's going. I think they're going to do it in Texas, so you can grab that one.
Yeah, like that could be
Is
the
this
Hawk
like
of
what it? This is what it's like if you like used to work at Blockbuster. You're like, they're all gone. They're all gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's got to be surreal. Like the place you used to live is being scrapped. It's like, god damn, that sucks.
It's like me at a record store.
Mhm.
Although there's still a few here and there.
Oh
but-
yeah, no.
I think
Look,
Amoeba
record
is
stores
still
aren't
alive.
going away.
DJs only. They're only for
Yeah.
DJs because you got to spin the vinyl, for the purists.
It's for music lovers.
Hmm
I would be lying to you if I had said that I haven't been in a record store in the last at least in the last 2 years.
Last time I went was 6 years ago, and it was awesome. And I want to
Yeah.
go back. Now I just
Well,
buy everything online.
Yeah, listen, I didn't say I bought anything, but I was in there.
Ah, what a bitch!
Yeah,
What do you want? What do you
let's
want
not
from
start
me?
talking about the records. You got me
What
thinking
am I
about the
gonna
last
play
one
it
I
on?
bought, and that was a
What am I
long
gonna
time.
play it on?
Look, I don't have a CD player at all, but I buy CDs still. to
That's a
help out
bad
the
move.
artists.
Should not do that.
No, I
I
just
Every
like
time you
right
think
now.
you should
I
just
wanna-
stream it.
what? I look, Jay's thinking. I saw Jay grabbing his chin like that. Wait, Jay, you want to make an 8-track? I'll buy your 8-track.
Can you even find anybody that can install an 8-track?
100
just to have it.
100%. If you make an 8-track, Jay, I will buy your 8-track as well.
One of the bands that I like, The Sword, released their latest album called Used Future, or second to latest, on 8-track. And I tried to buy it, but they only made 500 of them. But I would buy it. When you buy it, they give you the digital download, so you hear the music.
Mm.
But and then you
Yeah,
just have the
because they know
8-track.
you just bought that as like a commemorative piece.
Yeah.
Hey, technically,
it
the
plays.
8-track signal is supposed to be a lot cleaner because it records it
is.
separately in 8 separate audio tracks. So
Right. Yeah. And you can remix shit if you have the proper equipment.
Yeah,
right
you gotta
from a
probably bust that
store-bought
thing
8-track.
open. You probably
Yeah.
got to bust the 8-track open because that's a big
Yeah.
old
Yeah. But yeah, no,
Well,
8-track. I mean,
Oh, I'm surprised I remember how that thing works.
The
all
proper
those
equipment.
all those music formats, they're still like they're good. They're just not, convenient.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. All right, should we get to these reviews?
Coming to 8-track.
Yeah. Let me get out your way because I haven't actually watched that new Boys episodes yet. So
Ah,
get
don't
out
worry
your
about
way.
it. Me
Leave
neither.
room for somebody else.
All right, we appreciate you calling in, Zeno. Thank
right,
you for helping school me on Isukai. That's it.
Yeah.
Isai Morales.
Hey, anytime Jay needs some backup, man, he just gotta get on the radio.
There it is. Jay
All right, take it
needs
easy, guys.
Jay can use the backup often because we're cool. Okay, I'll speak for
Yeah.
myself. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Mona.
Yeah, like-
Eh,
Mona
I play it
Mona's
off.
hair.
Before we jump into that, I did want to address Tiger Claw real quick.
Oh yeah, what's up, Tiger?
He says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? Have you seen the final trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2? We're less than a month away." And yeah, they've been playing it everywhere and often.
I haven't seen it at all, but I saw the poster that looks like Sonic 2. Like
Dude,
it's an
it's so good.
fucking
It's
love
so
that.
good. Like
Yeah, the trailer is good.
I can't believe how excited I am for this movie. Like
But you still
like
haven't.
the first one blindsided me with how good it was, and I'm like, I want to see a sequel. And
Do you,
then this joint came out, like the trailer and the poster, and I'm just like, dang, they are like, I'm in already. Now I'm like, I'm twice in, I guess. 2.5, 3 times in. I'm like, when does it come out already? Let's go. Like I feel like Moses. Just show me the movie.
yeah,
Just show me the movie.
Yeah. Larry, do you? Well, two things. One is, do you think you would have enjoyed the first movie if they hadn't redesigned Sonic?
You know what? It would have been like I think the answer to that question is yes. However, it would have been really hard just because I would have always been looking at that thing because
It
the
would have
story
been
would have
weird.
been there.
Yeah.
The story would have been there. Like they didn't change the story. What they changed was the design. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. It makes it a lot easier to be a fan of the movie without having to look at the crazy incarnation that they had
Yeah.
previously. But I think personally, just because you all know me, I'm a story guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I've never been a graphics guy. I'm not the dude that's like, oh man, the art was so bad that I just couldn't get into the story. Like I've enjoyed amazing stories with the worst art in comics.
Yeah.
And just been like, like I can't be like, oh, it's the best comic
We
you've
might
ever
be talking
read.
about one of those today.
You might be right. You might be right. But the fact of the matter is, so I believe in my heart of hearts that I probably could have seen past the atrocity that was
Yeah.
that first Sonic design. But I'm just so happy that they listened to the fans and were like,
Yeah.
we hear you and you're right, and we're gonna just change that. And they didn't have to change anything else because everything else was great. So
Jay,
yeah,
how about
man.
you? You think you would have liked it if they hadn't redesigned the character?
I'm not sure. Like, there's one joke in the movie that old design would have ruined, like, completely.
What joke is that? Do you remember?
The Sanic joke, where they have the picture of the Blue
you're
Devil
right.
and it's a
You're
picture
right.
of Sanic.
You're right.
Like that.
You're right.
That old design would have ruined that joke completely, and that
You
could
are
have thrown
correct.
the whole movie off.
Well, I'm
Off
not
the
the whole
rails.
movie, but I do agree with you. Like, because you'll be like, hey, don't be making fun of people's designs. Don't be doing that. You're right. Like, hey, trash Sonic. Making fun of trash Sonic. I'm less trash than you. No, you just 3D.
Sonic the movie is a solid 5 out of 5. But I think without that design, it would have knocked it down like a point easily.
1.5.
Yeah.
It's like we would be talking about like how
it would have been like
unfortunate.
Like we couldn't enjoy the movie because that design was so distracting. Like because it wasn't even like, I didn't think it was that bad a design, but it's like once you have the original design there, it's just of such a better movie. Like two whole points, like it just looks like all those lines coming out of Sonic with the original design just work with that voice and everything. It's I wish it would have been Jaleel White, but it still works with the
Yeah, it does.
Jaleel White was such a good voice for Sonic because I remember they did the dark cartoon and the like happy cartoon.
Right.
And it was both voices and it worked so well. But yeah.
And again, you all know, like I'm not a Sonic fan like that. Like, Jay is the Sonic fan.
Yeah.
And like Jay and I would have debates as children about, Sonic versus Mario and which one is the better mascot and the better games, that kind of stuff. And I was 100% like, I'm a Mario guy, as you all know. I'm a Nintendo dude.
Yeah.
And Jay, I mean, like I don't know why Jay was like, I'm a Genesis guy, because it's like he had all the systems. Jay had all the systems going up. That's why I love going over to Jay's house, because I'm like, well, we can play whatever we want here. At my house, we're playing Nintendo. Maybe go back and get some Atari stuff if you want to.
I wasn't a Genesis guy, but it's because that's what they gave me, and it's not like some rich person gave it to me, not like, oh,
Yeah.
my mom was like, here, I'm buying you this, son,
Yeah.
for getting an A.
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't like that. So that's what I played, and yeah,
Yeah.
I like Sonic.
But Jay
got-
loves Sonic. And so yeah, and I mean, obviously there's a whole generation of people that love Sonic, but I guess that's
Sonic.
what
Look, Sonic is cool. Like he's like Mario, but with attitude. Like Mario with sunglasses. Yeah. But
and that's what isn't. Oh wait, was the Nintendo? Was that the Genesis or was that the TurboGrafx ad? You remember that?
Yeah, that was Genesis does
Oh,
what
okay.
Nintendo.
There it is. Genesis does what Nintendo. So that was like their whole selling point. They were like, we're the edgy.
TurboGrafx actually had an awesome ad campaign where they would like show representation. Like they would have a situation, and it would be like, well, one way is like how Nintendo was, one way would be how like Sega was, and then they have the way that was like TurboGrafx. Like the one I remember specifically was they get pulled over by a cop for speeding, and then the Nintendo guy is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I won't do it again." And the Genesis guy is like yelling at him, like, "You have the radar gun. You should know how fast I was going." And then the TurboGrafx guy was like, "I don't know how fast I was going. The little needle stops at 120."
Jay, did you had the TurboGrafx too? Yeah.
Dude, listen, what part of all the systems don't you understand?
Look, hey,
all
the only thing I didn't have a Neo Geo.
Yeah, see, Larry,
because those were like $1,000 at the time.
Yeah. Listen, Jay, wait. Jay didn't have the console.
Big cartridges like this big.
But didn't you have the handheld?
I did have the handheld.
See,
dude, with the color one, the little like
yeah,
and the
that thing was amazing, man.
Yeah, so
I love
that. So man, it was so good.
And
Lloyd had that.
Didn't they play the same games?
No, they didn't. You're thinking of TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
You're right.
Could play the same games.
All I remember is when I would go to Jay's house, we could play whatever games we wanted.
You guys play Bonk's Adventure?
Jay had all. Yeah. Bonk.
I love that game.
Bonk came with the TurboGrafx.
Yeah, I know. But I was on like I just one of my little friends where they babysat me occasionally had it, and that Slaughterhouse and
Splatterhouse.
That thing.
Yeah, Splatterhouse was awesome.
Yeah, man. Dude, trust me, I was like two things that I can say that I remember specifically from our childhood going over to Jay's house. Jay always had the game systems on lock. And the other thing that Jay had that I was like, wow, like where's Jay finding this stuff? Jay always had the Black superhero comics on lock. Like I would be like, where, like, and don't get me wrong, it's like, I feel like Jay got into comics, I think, a little bit before I did. But
I was into like kids comics. That's started reading the older comics first. Like when you started X-Men, I was still on like Archie and
Berenstain Bears and stuff. Yeah,
like
you're right,
the kid stuff. And then eventually I started Transformers because you were doing that. You were doing like Transformers and X-Men. And I went to Transformers, and then my mom just bought me a bunch of comics, and then like Spider-Man was in it, and from there I just like took off.
What I remember is like going to Jay's house. He's like, "Hey man, I got this book. You should read it." And he would get like the milestone stuff, and I was just like, "What is this? I've never seen that. Because I never even heard it. Like I go to a comic book store every week. Where's this stuff?"
Yeah.
And it's like
Brother Man.
Awesome. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm just whoa. I didn't even know they made comic books with people that look like us in it, and we're not the villain. I didn't even know. It's good stuff, man. I was like, wow, I don't know where Jay's getting these comics from, but I'm gonna try to see if my comic book store will start carrying some of these. But they were like, nah. They're like, no, young militant, no.
We don't need you radicalized.
Right. Exactly.
You already have good diction.
They're like, go to Asawan Books for that. Like, what? I will. We'll go to Asawan. No.
All right, I'm gonna play this review music so we can get in on this shit.
Let's do it.
Comic book
Review,
comic book
like review. Well, not like that, but like
All right. So let us begin with our Women of Marvel #1, which is Women of Marvel #1 for 2022, because they do a Women of Marvel at this point. It seems like it's an annual event, every Women's History Month, right? So I feel like I'm pretty sure they had, like, which is weird to me a little bit, because I'm like, I get why you don't necessarily do the continuous numbering, but I think I would just do it by year. I would just do Women of Marvel 2022, because they had one last year, they had one the year before that. You know, I don't know how far back it goes, but they've been doing it for a few years now.
they're just blatant about their virtue signaling. Then,
Because they're calling it #1, or
well, because they only put it out this time each year.
yeah, I mean, and guess what? I mean, no, absolutely. Like Marvel, like they've done that now. I want to say like since
It's like
Marvel Now,
Yeah,
like Marvel Now, which was maybe like 2018, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. You know, I suck at years. I don't have that kind of memory. But I feel like whenever Marvel Now was, where they were like, you know, when you had Captain America was Sam Wilson and Thor was, oh man, all of a sudden, wow, I can't remember the character's name.
Who? I wasn't listening. It's Women's Month. I listen to women this month.
When oh man, Thor's love interest that became Thor.
Jane Foster.
Oh,
Thank you. Sheesh, I had a brain fart. And I'm like, come on, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about. So yes, ever since, you know, in that moment where you had Sam Wilson as Captain America and Thor as Jane Foster, and I guess I don't remember if at that point, like, I know that you had uh Iron Man there, but it wasn't. Was Iron
was
Man just
Riri.
a hologram?
Ironheart.
No, I don't think Riri was taking that role though, because you're not gonna put Riri there next to those guys. I'm trying to figure out what was happening with Iron Man at that point. I don't remember if,
He was just.
but it doesn't matter.
I think it was the hologram one though.
It might have been a hologram. I don't know. But either way, but in that era, I feel like they've like been steadily like every, you know, all of the different minority groups, you know, they do the, like, at the same way how they do during Pride Month, they do the Pride comic, and they do the Native American comic, and they do the Latino comic, which honestly I'm not really mad at. Like I kind of like the idea that at the very least they're highlighting these different groups in that
I just
moment,
Yeah,
commemorating. But at the same time, it's not like they don't have those people doing books throughout the year too, or some of the people. You know, not
right.
everybody, but you know, some of
Yeah,
those.
but they're in teams or they come out in sometime in August when there's nothing to be proud about. They'll put Squirrel Girl in something.
Right. So Woman of Marvel, like I mentioned, is the book where Marvel's highlighting women, and they do that like both from a female character perspective and from the women that are the creators that are behind the scenes making stuff happen, whether you're talking about writers and artists, and they also have, you know, highlighting editors and whatnot. The book has interviews in it from editors, and like even little snippets, like little mini interviews from different women from Marvel, talking about how they got into comics and how they broke into the industry and whatnot, in between stories that feature different characters. In this particular book, it features characters like Black Cat, it features Squirrel Girl, it features who am I missing? Oh, Scarlet Witch is in one of the stories, and I feel like there's another character that. Oh, I know that Shauna the She Devil
Yeah.
is in it
Oh
as
yeah.
well, and there's also like another person that I know I'm forgetting, but we'll probably get to it.
Well, the one that I have no idea
Oh,
who
Black
she
Widow.
is. Oh no, that's not the one that I have no idea who.
No.
And Silver Sable.
Yes, yeah, that there. Yeah, Silver Sable is actually in the Shauna story, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who's the one that you have no idea who they are?
The Black Witch.
Which is the person that was in the story with Scarlet Witch?
No. Oh yeah.
Oh, now is she called the Black Witch? I don't remember her
I
being
don't
called
know.
that in the story.
I just know that she's a black person and a witch.
Wait, is she black?
I don't see color, so I
You
don't
are
know. She's not black.
I don't know. She kind of
I
has
don't
a
think
nondescript. She has a nondescript kind of vibe to me. Like I wouldn't call her black.
Babe, can you hand me my iPad? I left it over there. She looked black to me. Let me look at this again.
Like there now.
Real quick.
Now, go ahead, Jay.
One thing we didn't mention, but Gail Simone does the foreword for this book, and I just want to take just a moment to appreciate what an icon she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because
it's like
you'll see her everywhere. Yeah, I read it.
How dare you? How dare you?
It's just interesting, like when you think of like who is the like one of the best female writers in comics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Gail Simone, like immediately comes to mind. And I think what really hit for me too is like this isn't even the only book she's done the foreword for that I've read this month, where it's like,
oh, this month, oh wow,
yeah, she does the foreword for the Vox Machina collection.
That's cool. Yeah, no. I mean, Gail Simone's a titan. We all know. And and what I appreciate about Gail Simone is she does her 100%. Like, like she's not at this point, at least, which has been for a while now, doesn't feel very concerned about what other people think about her opinions or how she feels about certain matters, and that's refreshing. You know what I mean? It's like,
and she's ridiculously funny. Like
she is very funny.
Like the way she trolls some of these like idiots out there.
Well, but it look, they make it easy for her though. That's the thing that blows my mind. Is like it's just one of these things where it's like, dude, like who knows comics but doesn't know Gail Simone or doesn't understand what Gail Simone understands and doesn't understand? It's like, dude, like you got cats explaining characters to her that she wrote, and it's like, like the reference you're making is the thing she created. It's like, dude, stop it! Like, come on, guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not even like they don't know who she is. They understand who she is, but I guess they just don't know all her work. So it's weird. It's like, okay, like you get that she writes comics, but you're like, oh well, you have to understand that the thing about Batgirl is really Gail Simone. The thing about Batgirl, it's a weird thing, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it was a good forward, huh?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
No, I mean, dude, it's worth reading, which is something that you can't say about probably 50% of forwards. Like, as a person that reads forwards often, I'm like,
no,
yeah, like
I don't read it because they don't have any pictures.
He's like, this is a comic, right? I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Man, you must have had a really hard time with the next thing we're going to review.
What?
Oh, yeah. I didn't read
you hold on.
Yeah, I didn't read the emails in that one.
Listen.
I read one of them, but the other one was like dense. I'm like, fuck this.
Hold
Hey,
on to it.
teasers.
We're here.
It's a. I'm teasing the people so they stick with us.
Thank you. So, Women of Marvel. Um, well, let's just general impressions. Jay, what was your thought on this book?
Generally, I enjoyed it. Like, I will say, I actually did enjoy the ancillary stuff more than the comics.
Gotcha.
Like, they're talking to the editors and the
Hmm.
artists and everything, and like
Yeah.
hearing like some of them tell like how they got into comics, and some of them were telling like kind of like tips and tricks for when you're an editor, and
Yeah.
I found all of that like really interesting.
Right.
Like it's cool to peek behind the curtain sometimes.
I agree. And not only peek behind the curtain, but get a female perspective of it too.
Right.
Because that's not something you get often. Like, it's like, you like, even people that have been in the industry, for decades, you let them tell it, and it kind of feels like women weren't really there. And don't get me wrong, it's not like there weren't a lot of women in the industry, and there are a lot more in the industry now than there were then. But it's still not a lot of women, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is interesting to kind of hear those perspectives, because the peeks behind the curtain from their perspective is definitely a different perspective than a lot of the guys. Because you know, I like that kind of stuff too, and I've read a lot of dudes talk about a lot of different things about, you know, whether you talk about editing or whether you talk about submission stuff or how they got into comics, and it's interesting to hear the differences between the two. So, Moses,
Mm-hmm.
how about you, man? What were your thoughts generally about Women of Marvel #1?
Well, I'm gonna get a little breaking the fourth wall.
Wait, are we in the book? Are we
I
in the
don't
book?
know, but your
Oh,
audio is about as bad as some of these stories in this book.
oh no! Is my audio bad right now?
It's it's
yeah.
it's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as the stories in the book. Like I think those stories are better.
Oh, you think the stories are better? Okay.
Yeah, like his audio is bad. Like
Oh
it's way
no!
worse than the stories in the book.
Well,
That's what I
like
What
meant to
is?
say. I said that
for
the wrong
example,
way.
like the story with Scarlet Witch, with the girl that I thought was black, but I guess she's Hispanic because she's a janitor.
Wow!
Like, it's not Hispanic Pride Month. I can say it.
Mo's right. It's not
Hey, my
Hispanic
mom was
Pride
a
Month.
housekeeper. She cleaned toilets for a living, and look at the success I am. The American
There it
dream.
is. Right.
I don't know what the gas price is like. That's how good I got it. But yeah, like these stories. The only one I liked was the She Devil one. Like, and it still
Mm.
wasn't like a great. Like, it was a good story, but it wasn't like one of the best like She Devil comics I've ever read. Yeah, and I
Right.
felt bad about these. Like, I've read, highlighting Black Cat as a woman in Women's Month. Like, the way they did it here, it's like none of those stories really had a good payoff for me.
Hmm.
Like, there's like nothing really happening in a lot of these stories, and it's like, man, why don't you? The only one was the Jessica Jones one, and that one was like, that's actually really cool, except for the fact that they redesigned her to look like the TV show instead of her original look in the comics. So that threw
Yeah.
me off. I had that
Yeah.
Sonic moment, you know.
Yeah.
But that show one grew on me, so it works, and I could feel like I can see that being like that story of Jessica Jones being in the next iteration. Like, maybe they do a time jump where she's in a more stable place and she actually helps somebody that she saved beyond just saving them, helping them
Hmm.
get their life back on track. I think that would be a good little vignette to see in live action, and it would fit the character's growth in that original Netflix series. And if they bring her back in Disney Plus, it'd be great too. But um, but I guess I like
Mhm.
the original design in the comics. It's what I'm
Yeah.
familiar with, so it just looks
Yeah, of
weird
course.
here.
And
Like
yeah.
after you know Jessica Jones has had some growth. A lot of the way that
Mhm.
Jessica Jones looks the way she does on the TV show is because she hasn't had that growth. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm talking about
Mhm.
the feminizing of her clothes or whatever, because she wears more mom clothes now because she's a mom.
Mhm.
And they show the kid, the kid's grown. I'm like, man, it
Mhm.
felt like running into a family, like a family friend after a long
Mhm.
time, and seeing that baby as a
Mhm.
a second grader, and I'm like, whoa, you've
Mhm.
grown. I didn't realize
Mhm.
how long I've been away from you. So that was a
Right.
good moment in reading this book. But aside from all the stories, like nothing really happens, and it's like if you're going to showcase a lot of these like heroic characters that are women, maybe I don't know, maybe if women read this, they're like, oh, this is great. But for
Yeah.
me, a dude that like I have seen Squirrel Girl take on Thanos, you know,
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
you're gonna showcase Squirrel Girl on Women's Month, like make that's one of the biggest things you could do is fuck up Thanos,
Mhm.
you know, and
Oh,
instead
good.
she
I actually
fought
really
robot
enjoyed her
cockroach.
story.
I'm sorry.
I actually really enjoyed her story.
Yeah, I know, but you like that run
Like,
too, that like that newer run.
but I think there's something about the duality of her, like doing her schoolwork and fighting bad guys, like kind
Right.
of wrapping it all into one thing.
Yeah, but
Also,
again,
it's a
this
good idea. Like, well, I know Larry must love their idea of a hero naming app.
Why do I love that idea?
Because you're the one that complains the loudest whenever you think someone has a bad name.
yeah.
Well, I like names, and names are important. They're labels, and so
That's why you would
you're
like
right.
the
Like,
app.
yeah, no, I agree. Like, I found it intriguing. I did, and I was like, man, I hope we get a little bit more about this, but we didn't. But I do agree. Like the like, I think that the point you made, which I'm sorry, wait, real quick, is my audio any better or no? Still
Yeah, a
trash?
little bit. Yeah, no, it's good. It's better.
Okay,
It's
It's
not
not
jumping up.
popping, at least
Yeah.
right
okay.
now.
So I agree with the point you made, Jay, about the juxtapositioning of like, oh, I got to finish the school project, along with the idea that, oh, I can like fight Wolverine to a standstill, is an interesting kind of thing. And I think that the point that Mo's making is, if you're gonna have Squirrel Girl in a book, why wouldn't you? And you talk about women and trying to show how amazing and powerful they are. Like, why wouldn't you showcase that aspect of Squirrel Girl as well? And there's a part of me that does agree with that, you know.
Mhm.
But I do think that the point, or the thought that you had, Mo, was a similar thought that I had as well, where it's like, well, maybe women would be relating to this differently than I would. Like,
Mhm.
this could be like a story by women for women,
Yeah.
and I might just like, it may not be resonating with me in the same way that it would for somebody that was a woman. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah. For
that could
Women's Month,
be the case. But I will say that the Squirrel Girl story, for me personally, was a story that was one of the more enjoyable ones in this book
yeah.
for me.
I
Yeah,
I
like,
I
I
can
like that
see
one.
that. Yeah. Well, it has a full on like superhero beginning, middle, and end,
Mm-hmm.
and team up, and so
Mm-hmm.
it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little story.
It does
The
work.
the witch one, I was like, I didn't know what was. I was falling asleep
It,
one page. Yeah,
it was terrible to me,
yeah.
and
I
and I
thought
Oh,
I
just
thought my
wasn't.
blood sugar was low. Like I thought maybe I need to see a doctor because I'm like
No, man, it's
fainting
the
here.
story.
Yeah.
I
It's the
like that
story.
one. Like,
Really? Like, what is it about it that you like, Jay? Tell us, please.
like I don't know. Something about her. Like, I just like she's a bitch and she kind of creates her own problems.
Yeah.
But then she learns
Like-
to like stop doing that by
For-
like gravitating towards this one group of friends, and like there's like character growth.
For Women's Month, there's 3 dudes discussing the hardships of a girl befriending people.
Well, I mean, at first she isn't trying to. Like she's
I know.
actively pushing away people that are like trying to bring her in and complaining about it. And I kind of get it.
Look, it might be
Like,
something
she's
girls
going through
handle.
a situation. Like she's
sorry,
going.
lady.
She mentions going through a situation. I don't remember what that situation is like, but it's like one of the devastating ones. Yeah, I don't know. But then she finds this group of friends, and then she gets threatened by a newcomer who's actually like an old comer. Like, there's just a lot going on, I think.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot going on. I just don't care about any of it.
Yeah, like I guess I don't know. I like seeing her journey.
Yeah, but I mean, where did her journey end? Like,
with her making friends.
Yeah, but again,
No,
yeah, like
I can totally relate.
Like I'm trying to read superhero books here.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Like,
Well,
I guess for myself.
Hold on.
Jay.
You say it's a superhero book. I mean, there was superheroes in it, and there is a supervillain fight in that story. But
there's a supervillain fight in that story.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the villain, but it's Scarlet Witch squaring off against the villain.
Yeah.
And then the girl comes behind her and like hits her with a chair or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. You say superhero story. You were looking for superhero stories. I was just looking for comics, like just regular stories. Like, I don't know. I didn't come into it like, oh, it's got to be all action all the time, all big, all explosions and.
No.
Like,
no,
I wasn't really looking for that. The more lifier type things was fine. We got like 4 heist stories.
I want them to show. Yeah, they were all terrible. And I've read talking about women supporting women in comics and all this. I've read Black Cat books. that 2 pages of those books had better heists than this whole entire book. So this is not a fair representation of how awesome Black Cat is for women.
I agree with you on that.
So don't get me started on that. But this story about this witch. I understand you enjoyed it, but it's Women of Marvel. That girl is not a woman of Marvel. Like, this isn't her hero origin story, is it?
Are you talking about the young lady in the Scarlet Witch story?
Yeah.
So you're saying Scarlet Witch isn't a woman of Marvel?
It's not her story. It's the story of the girl that has hard time making friends.
Yeah.
Right. She's not a woman of Marvel.
The issue.
She's not a woman of Marvel.
Well,
I mean, she is a Marvel character. She's in a Marvel book. That's like saying that little white genie girl isn't a woman of Marvel.
Which little white genie girl?
From the Aladdin book. Look, it's an old graphic novel, and I had it, and you've read it multiple times. And I've showed it to you multiple times, and I've read it multiple times. We've both read this book, but you don't remember it, and it got stolen from me. And it's one of those books that's it's one of those books that's so obscure that no one knows what you're talking about. Like, you can't find it. Like, you search and you look for you type in the characters who are in it. I don't know the genie girl's name, but you type She-Hulk, Tigra, Storm, Wasp, They're all in
I
this
would have
book
loved to see
together.
any of them in this story instead of that. Instead of that
Wait,
janitor girl.
so it's a white genie in like the 616?
No, it's in an Aladdin
Um,
book that was published by Marvel.
Yeah, it's in the 616.
But when you say Aladdin, are you talking about like Disney Aladdin?
No, the book is called Aladdin something.
Okay, I'm just saying
But
like
it's not Disney
when
Aladdin?
you
No,
okay, so
Okay.
when
it's
you say
Marvel.
Aladdin, you gotta be like when you say Aladdin, what we're gonna think about is Disney Aladdin because that's the most
That's
popular Aladdin.
that's on you. Like
It's really isn't. It really
I,
isn't. Like
I
I'm just
feel
saying,
like
like
it
you
is.
gotta
Like when you say
every.
when I hear
Here's the thing.
Aladdin,
Okay,
the
I'll make
Disney
it
one.
easy for you. I'll make it easy for you to understand me. I'd rather take a story by that white genie girl than this janitor girl.
And I'm just saying, I didn't like.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
I
I don't get
understand.
the argue. I don't get the not a woman of Marvel. And
Yeah,
even if it isn't her story, women of Marvel are featured in her story. So
It's
I'm
for
not.
what?
it's definitely her story.
But for what? Like it's not. She's not
No,
becoming.
right? No, and for what
Yeah,
I agree. No, I like listen. This was a story that like I was baffled by because I didn't
like
like I was like I spent
if this was
like Moses. I spent like probably the first like 5 minutes of reading this like who is this person? Like, is this a character that I'm supposed to know, or like did it? And so I'm like, if she's a new character, why are we talking about her like she's been around? Like, I'm just like, so she's just in this friend group, and I'm like, okay, and that's fine. Like, I don't no
yeah.
problem with it, but it's like it's just
It
and
sounds like
this
you
is
have
a
a problem
thing.
with it.
No, well, it's not that I have a problem with it. What it
I do.
is that as a guy, I think I have a hard time understanding like what the problem is and I'm not saying that uh that's like I'm not saying it needs to be written for
The
me.
problem
I'm not
is
saying that
the problem is she has friends. She had trouble making friends. She made
no.
friends, and then
I
someone new came, and
I
she got jealous.
understand
And she
I
thought she was going to
understand
lose her friends.
I
Like that's what's
understand the
happening.
problem. No, I understand it from a logic perspective, from an emotional perspective, because I'm a guy, it's harder because I feel like it's a thing where it's like this is not a thing that guys do so much where it's like, like we don't worry about this kind of stuff because you can be the new friend and an old friend come in and you could understand that the old friend you're like, oh yeah, this dude, like, okay, this person was gone for a while, so
Yeah.
I was filling their spot, but that doesn't mean they're gonna get rid of me
I used to
because
deal with
I'm
that with Larry all the time.
like it's like
Every time I hang out
I
with Larry, it's like, oh, it's Larry's old friend.
it's like that person
Like that's how
is
I met
definite.
Joe. I'm like, oh, that's Larry's friend. Before me.
It's like from a guy perspective, you look at that and you're like, oh, okay, so this is the person that okay, like they had this like hole in their group, and I kind of filled that hole, but this person's back now. But then you meet that person, you're like, well, I'm different from that guy, so I'm not gonna be like they're not gonna oust me, you know. And I'm just saying, like, no, I don't. I feel like very few of us as men feel that way or like that's not a typical kind of reaction as a guy that you have. You're just like, oh, so this is the other guy, and you're like, okay, well, what's this dude's like vibe like that? Like let me see where he fits into the group, and you're like, okay, you adjust, or you're just like, well, I just do me and we'll all vibe together. Like you don't worry about it, and you might get
Yeah,
pushed out the group. Like that is a
it
possibility.
happens. Yeah.
But right. And if you get pushed out the group, you're like, well, hey, I found some other friends, I guess, when that happens, or you don't.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like she has trauma,
Well, she's also
No,
and
and I get it.
yes.
And I
she's
get it.
Look,
I'm
scared
not
and
of.
look,
no.
Don't get me wrong, Jay. This character in this situation is a story that I would enjoy
Yeah.
if it was a manga or if it was like not a women of Marvel. You know what I
It's just
mean?
not what you would expect, right?
Right. If
Exactly.
this was
It's
her
not
superhero origin, and I'm gonna see this hero, and then in 2 years from now, I'm gonna get this series in Disney Plus, like I'd be
I
excited.
just
like
don't know
in a
what,
book where
like,
you're like
I
Women
guess
of
for me,
Marvel, you're like,
I don't understand the disconnect that you guys are having
well,
with the
the
title,
disconnect.
between the title and the stories.
Well, here's the
Like it's
disconnect.
something I didn't
No,
experience, and I'm having a hard time empathizing with
Yeah.
the
not the stories,
situation.
not the stories in general. At least not for me. It was this story specifically because it's called Women of Marvel. I was like, oh, we're gonna do stories about characters in the Marvel universe, like women in the Marvel
Yeah.
universe. And so for me, I was like, when I'm reading the story, I'm just like, who is this? I don't know who this is. And I'm just saying, like being the Marvel guy on our show, I was like, man, how come I don't know who this is? I don't know who.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, and that's the thing is like there are very few characters of Marvel where they hit me, and I'm like, I have no idea.
And here,
You
Like,
don't know who
it's like I
Dolphin
usually,
is,
also, like
huh?
so you
I
don't know who Dolphin is.
Dolphin Lundgren.
No. There's like a friggin' anthropomorphic dolphin.
No, I'm talking about the blonde girl.
Which blonde girl?
That's what I'm saying.
Which
You don't
one?
know her. Her
Which
name
one?
is Dolphin.
Where?
She basically had basically Namor's powers, but a blonde girl.
How many weeks old is she?
No, she's ancient. She's ancient Marvel.
Publication history, not biographical history.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I mean. Her
Okay.
publication history is ancient. Like
Okay, so how long
she's
ago
been dead a
since she's
couple of
appeared?
times.
How many times has she, or when was the last time she appeared in a Marvel comic?
Derek. But
But I mean, like, is
like
it
I'm
like
saying,
since? Is it
I'm
since
just
I started
saying,
reading comics,
at the
or is it
time,
before that?
I'm just saying.
Okay,
One
no, go
thing
ahead,
I
Joe. You don't
will
have to look it
say,
up. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
I'll
one
look it
thing I
up.
will say is before all you thousands of women that listen to us get mad at me for like talking about this
She was
character not
created in 1968.
being. I had the same problem with the first Thor movie. I didn't like it, and then once the Avengers movie came out, it made that movie worth it. So if something happens with this character later on, that's gonna be awesome. Like I'll be all in. Yeah, I read that story and I hated it. I'll proudly say I hated it. I hated her first
No,
appearance, but she's great now, and I love her. Yeah, but
yeah,
I
no.
don't
I
know
mean,
if
I
you're
wouldn't even go
getting
that
that.
far. But I guess I think more than anything, it's just the idea that you're like, okay, because I feel like that story is the first story you read after the Black Cat story, right?
Right. Like, and the Black Cat
So
story was like, it was just done. And I'm like,
it's a little
what?
piece. It's a snippet. It's a
Yeah, it's a
snippet, right?
snippet,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's not
And
even like,
so
it doesn't even start off like a good Black Cat story.
no, I agree. I agree 100%.
And
And
you know me,
so
I'm partial to Black Cat.
no, I do know this
Yeah,
because you're a Spider-Man fan, and
yeah.
so
And she
in
has a
turn a
big,
Black Cat
yeah,
fan, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
so like so it's one of these things where it's like so for that to be the first story, I'm like, who is this? And I'm trying to figure that out. And eventually, at a certain point, you have Scarlet Witch show up, and I'm just like, okay, so we got Scarlet Witch here, but Scarlet Witch is like I mean, she's not yeah, she's kind of a minor character. Like she doesn't play like she's not the
6
emphasis of the
panels.
story.
She's in 6 panels.
So it's kind of like, okay, so I'm like, so is this young lady like is she in Marvel somewhere? And so I'm just confused, and the story is not like it like I understand what she's going through, but I guess it's not resonating with me in the same way, and so I'm just a little bit like taken aback from the jump, which it's one of these things where it's not so much about like, oh, this story shouldn't be told or anything. It's just more being honest about like my experience with it, where I'm just
Right.
like I was confused, and I don't understand like why we're like if this was honestly, even if this was like say the story after the first like actual story, it might have hit different just because I would have been like, okay, well, we already had one story about a Marvel, like a woman of Marvel. And so I know that that's what we're doing. And so now I might be able to be more open to the idea that this might be talking about a new character, which I believe this is a new character. I guess technically I don't know because I guess the character could have showed up somewhere else, but where? They didn't tell me, so I don't know. And it's not somebody I'm familiar with. It's like, I couldn't even tell you, like the only book I can think of where a character like this might have shown up somewhere is like, this feels like it could have potentially been like a Runaways character somewhere, potentially in like the newest incarnation of Runaways. But I'm like, nah, like I feel familiar enough with that, despite not like having kept up with it as much as some other people to be like, this isn't a Runaways character. So I'm like, who is this? And like, why is she in this like, or not? Why is she in a coven, or not coven? But well, I don't know what these like dealing with these new age women.
Look,
I don't have an issue with who she's associating with. I'm just more so like, what's
I
the
love that you said
relevance?
coven.
Yeah, but what's the relevance? That's more what it is. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, I thought we were talking about women of Marvel, and I don't understand where she fits in that.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like anybody in the story was trying to tell me where she fits in that. So I'm just like, okay, well.
And that's the thing where you talk about a group of women talk into this prose interview thing about what it's like being an editor. And it's like, I'm not going to say a dude should have edited that story, but even some of the editors even the editors I don't like would have let that slide. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, yeah, we are just split on this one. Because I liked it. I thought Scarlet Witch was a woman of Marvel.
She is.
I'm not saying it's a bad story. It just don't belong in this book.
Well, I have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it doesn't belong in this book. I would say that maybe it should have been further back. Like it should have been like maybe the third story as opposed to the first one. And I guess I can't even say it's the first one because
what was the deal? Like, did Scarlet Witch actually like teach her what she really needs in life?
I don't even.
Yes.
What
did she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Basically, to just not like powers aren't gonna fucking get you friends. What you need to do is just kind of chill, like come off of your thing and just be you and go hang out with your friends because either
she did tell you to be you. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, they're not like you're not them. They're not gonna replace you. Like you can't just be jealous and like wrathful. Like just go be you.
I can understand her getting that advice. Scarlet Witch giving it. Didn't she like blink half her friends out of existence?
More than half.
Yeah.
But hey, just because a person
she learned from it.
Right, exactly. It's like you can't mess around. Like good advice.
Do as I say, not as I
do.
do.
It comes from. Exactly. So.
I mean, Larry was there when I told Guy to, if he ever wants to be successful, get rid of his friends and family.
I was there for that. I was, and I was like, "Wow, I'm offended."
I kicked your ass right out. Get out, Larry.
All right. He's like, "No, you're
not wrong."
Huh? No. The thing is, it's sometimes when you get to a certain point, your family starts to depend on you, and it's like, yeah, we're in this together. I got to do my thing too, and you got to be good with me doing my thing. Yeah, I'm not here to support you.
So, can we talk about these Black Cat stories?
If we have to.
Well, look, because here's the thing, right? Because the book sets itself up like, okay, here's like what I don't remember what the exact number is. I think it was like 4 jobs. Oh wait, I'm sorry. What did Alfonso say?
Alfonso talking about Scarlet Witch said Scarlet Witch brainwashed new friends and they didn't even say sorry when she left.
That's true. LOL. That's true.
He also said,
Um,
"Congrats to me on my new family member. Thank you."
Yay. No, but I was gonna say that the Black Cat story sets itself up like you know 4 jobs. I think it was 4 jobs she hated and one that she loved or something
Yeah,
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get like the job she loved, like part 1, and then I think if I'm not mistaken, and then get like the job she hated, and then we eventually get to the job she loved part 2, and you get like the conclusion. And these are like little vignettes that are told in between the other stories. And like I feel like Black Cat has had like a bit of a emphasis lately in Marvel in general. Like I feel like they've been trying to tell more Black Cat stories and like trying to like make her a bit more of a prominent character or a player in the 616 just in general. Um
She does have a new book out with Mary
yeah, yeah,
Jane.
yeah.
yeah. And so, and I don't know if it's like Marvel just trying to like answer, like trying to be like the answer, like if you're like, oh, you like Catwoman, well come read Black Cat. I don't know if that's what it is and that's all it is, or if
I
there's
think
like
they're trying to
somebody.
tee up Sony.
Sony.
Yeah, for Silver and Black.
Oh, is that still happening?
I assume so.
I think
Okay.
after like COVID-26.
Listen, but they're not. They definitely are trying to tee up Silver Sable. I'll tell you that with the friggin' Shauna
Yeah.
cameo.
I like. Well, okay,
No.
that's I.
No,
I'm not saying I disliked it, but
I
what I'm saying
can't.
is that's the most shine that Sable's gotten in probably like the last like 3 or 4 years, which is
yeah,
crazy
3 or 4 is about right.
because Silver Sable. I mean, Silver like for me personally,
Look,
I feel like Silver Sable is a much stronger character than Black Cat is.
well, here's the thing. There's one of these stories of the Black Cat where I'm like, are you sure this is Silver Sable?
Which one?
I think it was the third one.
Or what happens in it? I don't remember.
Look,
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
happens. Nothing happens in any of these. It's just the look. It's like, the
Okay,
art got messed up, and it's
gotcha,
like this doesn't look like
gotcha.
the cat. I know they
And,
tried to do different eras,
yeah,
but it's not like they went
but
with different era design. But
yeah,
one was like she was undercover, and it's like this could have easily just been Silver
see,
Sable.
right, and I guess that's the whole thing where it's
Yeah,
like
but you
it
think
was.
Silver Sable is doing undercover work?
Yeah,
I mean,
where
not
it says
really
forever ago,
undercover
maybe. Yeah,
Like,
but not really because she's not going to change her hair color.
and neither did
Like
Black Cat.
that's true
sure.
too.
Yeah, like
It's
they're
like
the only two
Sable.
people with silver hair in that and Storm can't do nothing about her skin.
Look,
So
I'm saying Silver Sable doesn't do undercover anymore. She's too well known.
anymore, but that story was captioned a lifetime ago or something.
It's I guess ultimately the big issue I had with the whole thing was I was like, these stories aren't working for me as individual vignettes, and it doesn't feel like they would work if they come together as like one larger story.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, what are we doing here? Like it's
Oh.
which is unfortunate because it's like, like I want this book to win. Like I'm rooting for this book. You know what I mean? And it's like it was unfortunate because I've kind of felt like a lot of the big swings they took felt like a whiff. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
like, and especially considering like, I mean, Marvel's doing the right thing here where they're like, okay, you're going to have like a woman writer, a woman artist. And it's like, okay, like, I mean, you're Marvel, right?
Yeah.
So in my thought, it's like you can get whatever talent you want for the most part. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's some people that aren't going to do this book just because they're just like, well, listen, like, you know what my price is and Marvel's not trying to pay that. I get.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you're not going to convince me that, especially when you're talking about like this Black Cat story, that you're like, oh, this was the best people that we could find. Like, these weren't the best women that you could find to write this story, or the best woman you could find to draw this story for that particular thing. Like, and I'm not saying that across the board about this book, because there are other stories in this book that I really did enjoy. But what I'm just saying is like, women, like, there are a lot of talented up and coming women. And I know that that's like primarily what this book is about. Like, this isn't about established talent. It's about up and coming talent that they're trying to feature. And it's just like, dude, like, you're telling me that these are the best women that you could find? Like, I don't know that I believe you. I don't believe you, because you, like, there are women out. Like, I mean, I go down Honest Alley and see women that draw, and I'm just like blown
Look,
away.
That draw better
Blown
than
away.
this.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, actually,
So
the
I'm
art
just
in this
like,
book wasn't that bad. It wasn't I
well, it
feel the
depends on what story.
writing.
It depends on what story
Yeah,
you're talking about.
but most of it
And
was good.
none of the art is like trash. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say that, because I don't feel like any of the art is none
the
of the
cover is
artists are
fucking
like
amazing. Like,
the cover. The cover
I
is
love the
fantastic.
cover, but you
Yeah.
know,
Cover is really good.
Yeah, the
in true
cover's
comic
fantastic.
letdown, the cover has nothing to do with it.
But what I'm gonna say is, you know, even from a writing perspective, like, you're not gonna convince me that you're like, oh, well, these were the best women that we could find to write for Marvel that are
Yeah.
up and coming. It's like, no, that's not true. Like, you know, like, somebody didn't want to pay the truly talented women what they were worth, and probably went like one step down or two steps down. And that's unfortunate, because it's like, you can't tell me that you can't find a talented woman writer to write Black Cat. You can't convince me of that. Like, there's a writer out there that'll do it just for the credit. That's good.
I thought
And
she
happens
did
to
a
be a
good
woman.
job.
Really? You thought these Black Cat stories were good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there it is.
There's
And, like,
cover.
yeah. Look, and
I'm
only
still
one of those
suffering
people.
from
Only one of those people is in the book.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm still
One
suffering
of the
from fucking Amazon breaking Comixology.
Mm.
Otherwise, I would have had more examples.
I'm
But now I
trying to
need to download an Amazon storefront so I can use the Comixology app on my computer, and it doesn't want to download. And dude, seriously, Amazon.
Listen.
That's the thing that annoys me, is because when
I'm trying
Amazon
to get
wants
Nia on
to,
it.
they can
They said they're working on it.
do good things. It's like shit. Disney uses their servers. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
AWS.
like, they can do
Well,
shit.
not only that,
They've
but
just chosen not to.
they have a deal with the CIA, and they made a deal with law enforcement so that Ring cameras don't need warrants. So they know what to do at the moment. They should have known for my fucking comics. Because it's like, I'm okay with them like becoming part of Big Brother, getting in bed with Big Brother. Like, I'm down. Like, I always tell people, if Amazon got their shit right and made a phone, I would switch from Apple to Amazon, because everything I buy is through Amazon. Might as well do my cellular data too, you know?
Yeah.
So
That would
I'm
be
good
awesome.
with that. I'm okay with people not being able to piss on for work. If you don't like that job, go do something else. You know, go learn to cut hair. Yeah, but it's not. I don't give a fuck about all that. Get my fucking comics right. Yeah.
But you saw that there was the CEO of Comixology like got whether you want to say promoted or he left Comixology and is taking a job with Amazon, like as a basically an Amazon wide initiative. So he's definitely doing better for himself.
Yeah,
And like was like, hey,
that was his,
dudes.
That was his entire, because he's the guy that invented HBO Go. This
really
motherfucker's a pioneer, and he
CEO
got hired.
Of Amazon invented HBO Go.
The guy that was the head of Comixology, that got that Amazon deal to begin with, was the dude that made HBO Go.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That's why
Man.
Comixology going to Amazon was like, I was rooting for it. Like, I love it. Like, and because they left Comixology alone.
Yeah.
But now it's
Yeah.
it was Crimea back then. Now it's Comixology's Ukraine, and Putin putting it his ass won.
Oh,
Yeah.
sheesh, man. There it is. Social commentary from Fantastic Forum. You're welcome.
Enriching lives.
Enriching lives. There it is.
People like
Give
you
it-
saying
we
enriching
should-
lives on TikTok.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't. Did I say that before? I didn't even.
Yeah, one of the Chucky reviews that we did, I put it on TikTok. It got like 400 views, and they're like,
Shut up.
because it
That
starts
was
off with you
such a
saying
good
enriching lives.
show.
Yeah,
Such
And,
a good show.
we're getting season 2. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. It's like
Yeah.
one day I'll watch it.
You should watch
So-
From.
I will do that. Like,
Oh, I was just kidding. Like, I thought it
is
was too much for you.
Oh, I don't even know. Like you said, it was like good and like for the people from Lost. So I thought, but is it like all gory or something?
They show corpses.
Are they bloody corpses?
Not that bloody.
Okay, then I think I'll be all right.
Okay, they do like jump scares a little bit.
Oh,
He'll
well.
live.
Or I may not. If I don't, Jay, you got to split my comic book collection between you and Mo. I don't think Oz wants any more books.
Okay.
But if he does, you all
No,
know
we'll
what to do.
The
donate.
good
your
news
book.
is the first 3 episodes are free
Free on what?
on Epics.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Wait, this is on Epics?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't need look. Okay, well, I get that the first 3 are
But
free.
look-
That's all I can watch then, probably.
Look, but since we
I
actually
will say,
we talked
I-
about From at the beginning of the show, we went back to it. It seems like it's something we would be wanting to talk about. So I know they would send us a review copy if we send them a clip of this.
There it is. Please
I know
send us a review
personally-
copy.
I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, fuck, now I gotta subscribe to Epics for like 2 months.
Damn, that's crazy. Is that good? Is there
Yeah.
anything else on Epics that you might want to watch?
No. Like,
it's like
I
It reminds me
the
of, like-
show.
Epix
forgot.
has a Pennyworth, right?
Yeah, Epics has Pennyworth. So, yeah, there's nothing like.
I'm sorry. Oh, I hear Pennyworth's good. I hear because I don't have Epics. I don't have Epics. Oh, sheesh, man. Look, Jay's like, F that comic book show. Anyway, look, can we talk about Shauna the She-Devil story, Moses?
Look, I had a hard time today reading this book, and then finally, like, look, when I tell you, Larry, I have a doctor's appointment, and unfortunately scheduled the week after my birthday because that's the way our medical system works here. There's nothing I can do. And it's like, dude, I wanted my liver to be good, when I go to the doctor, but it's not. That's beside the point. I needed to move up the date because I kept nodding off through this fucking book. I really thought my fucking blood sugar was low and I was like fainting. But when I get to Shauna the She-Devil, I woke up. But I was in a blur, man. I was like, dude, like, okay, let's get to the gist of this thing. And basically it's a story, an environmental jungle preservation type story with orangutans, which is something the orangutans in Indonesia was something that I was passionate about back in like 2015. The harvesting of palm oil and everything. That's when I switched to handmade soap, with no preservatives, so you only have soap for like 3 days. But I would buy a year's worth in advance. There was a company called Moon and Horn, RIP. I don't think they sell soap anymore. The head of the company, really told me like nobody buys soap. Like we're making all this other shit because nobody wants to buy the handmade soap. They don't like that it melts too fast. And it's like, yeah, but that's because it's made well. Like you know, it, I only trust handmade soap for my skin, and unfortunately that company doesn't exist anymore, so I gotta find other ways to do it. And part of it was because of the orangutans in Indonesia through palm oil. So when I read this story, I'm like, man, this is right up my alley. This is some shit I would write about. Yeah. And this didn't happen in this story, but in real life, one of the dudes that was in charge of chopping down the trees and killing the orangutans went missing in the Indonesian jungle, and they found him inside a 30-foot python. And that was like some of the greatest news I ever heard. But that's a side note. But yeah, all this to say that that this Shauna the Devil story was like an environmental preservation story, and that's what I like. Like Shauna the She Devil in modern day, that's what they would kind of be about. I mean, we talk about gas prices now and energy, and people want solar, electric, hybrid. My solution that nobody cares about is a hybrid society. Use the fossil fuels for what's absolutely necessary. What you could get by with, go with electric, or hybrid, or and then the people say nuclear, but man, I'm going way off the rails with this because really, there's just too many people. Like, just kill half of the people, it will be fine. You could use any energy source without taxing the environment. But yeah, that's why I like the Shauna the She Devil story.
There it is. Jay, what do you think of this Shauna the She Devil story?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. Like, again, I should mention that I'm heavily biased towards Silver Sable.
Jay's the biggest Silver Sable fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that I know, but it's like that anyone knows. Who's out here like, who's out here that's like, oh, I'm a fan of Silver Sable. I've never heard anybody say that except Jay. And I met a lot of comic book people. No one's ever once been like Silver Sable though. Even when she shows up. And that's the thing though. Silver Sable doesn't have like a lot of weak appearances. Like Silver Sable comes in and does what Silver Sable does, and it's usually fantastic. Like even when you're like, you can have a bad story written poorly by somebody, and they have like a Silver Sable cameo in it, but that person that writes poorly is able to get Silver Sable right somehow. But everybody else is trash. You're like, well, Silver Sable did what Silver Sable does, but everybody else is garbage. It's a weird thing. I don't know. I guess maybe Silver Sable is like pretty consistent, and even in this story where she's still like subverts your expectations, she's still consistent, which is a weird thing because it's like she totally like flips the script at the end, but she's still very Silver Sable. So it's just like, okay, well, hey, what do you like? Understand that when Jay earlier was talking about that silver and black joint, like the silver part is not what I'm worried about. It's 100% the black part. Like I'm like, these cats ain't gonna be able to make a good black cat. But you can slap a blonde wig on a silver wig on somebody, and as long as they don't mess around and like try to emote too much, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But I will say that this, like, I'm not a big fan of Shauna the She Devil. And I say that, like, I don't want to say that because I know how much Moses likes her. Like, I was actually kind of taken aback by, like, wow, like, I'm like, okay, they got like a whole family. I didn't even know that. Like, when did that happen? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry. Well, it's stuff they've done in the past. Like I like the Jungle Girls genre, I guess. So
Yeah,
Shauna
I know
is
that.
was one of them, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they've done that. Yeah, I think what it was a Kazar or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Kazar. Yeah,
So
like I'm not a big Kazar fan either, but
yeah, I
you,
like
you know,
Kazar, and then I like Kamandi. Yeah, Kamandi's Jack Kirby's DC Kazar.
oh, I'm sitting here like, come on, dude. I'm like,
Yeah, I
who's
love that episode of
commanding?
the X-Men when Kazar was in it, in the Savage Land.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
absolutely. Like that's like
Like
literally, that's my introduction to Kazar, and then I
yeah,
know he does other stuff because I've seen him in Avengers, and I've even read a Kazar book on its own, and I've read a Shauna book on its own, and they're not terrible. It's just
yeah,
one of these things where it's just not my particular bag. And so, I'm not saying it shouldn't exist or anything like that because I've gotten past that. Like, Jay has helped me grow and realize that, like every comic doesn't need to be for me. Thank you, Jay. But it's one of the like that definitely was a byproduct of Fantastic Forum. Like, if we didn't do the show, I don't think I would be there. But the fact of the matter is, it's just one of these things where I'm just like, I don't know. I was a little like honestly for me, which is ironic, but Silver Sable showing up in this story was what was like, oh, now we're interesting. Because I was like, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying I want to see Shauna like run around with like loincloths on and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying
yeah.
that, but
Really?
she,
You don't?
yeah,
You're just
no, I
like,
don't. I don't.
no,
I
It
actually
doesn't.
I found it
It doesn't do anything for
refreshing.
me.
I found it refreshing that she was wearing like clothes in this
Well,
one.
but that was the whole thing for me, where I was like, she put on clothes, and I'm just like, well, like if Shauna can, like, if she and that was the part for me where I was like, it's a little weird because I'm like, okay, like I know she, like it's not like neither Kazar or Shauna are like raised by animals in the wild, so like they're not like primitive people that are like,
Yeah,
oh, I had to be reintroduced into
but
the
they
human.
choose.
Right. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
just like,
love that.
why?
That's what I
No,
love.
but that's ridiculous to me. It's like
That
if
if
you're
you
I
like,
could
no
do that,
woman would ever choose. You're like, no woman would ever choose to dress like that.
it's not about women. I'm talking about. I feel the same way about Kazar as I do Shauna, where it's like
look, you
if
ask
you
my
go mess.
mother-in-law. She's seen me walk around naked more than she should have
I'm
because
not.
I'm
I'm
a
not.
primitive motherfucker. I'm caveman.
I'm not
There's a
saying.
black dude that walks around naked all the time here. Like I've
Oh,
seen, and I
lucky.
don't mean like with the loincloth. I mean like just ass out, dick out, naked.
My
Like
question
I
to
need
you
to
is
move.
my my question to you is, but would he do it in the jungle though? And that's my thought. Where it's like
I
it's not
assume,
about
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
And he's
but you'd be
got
wrong.
jungle hair.
What does
So
that
I'm
mean?
assuming he
What does it
would go
even?
into the
What does it?
jungle,
Like
try
What
to
does it
stick out.
look,
mean?
that's
It's like
Jay's. Like, yeah,
racism.
yeah. That's the soundbite he wants when he runs for office.
I was like, what does that even mean? Jungle hair. Like what?
He's
What?
running for the GOP
What?
ticket.
And that's my whole thing. Where it's like, I'm not listen. I'm not saying that I understand that naked is comfortable. I get it. What I know is like like yeah, I love having my shoes off, but I like having my shoes off inside. If I had no,
Right, it's hot in the jungle.
it's hot. But what I'm saying is, look, I don't know if like when the last time you all ever walked outside barefoot, but barefoot just outside is not fun.
I did that
Not for
before the
you,
show.
but don't millions of
Yeah.
Belizeans do it?
Well, last
Listen,
time I went
Belize.
camping, quote unquote camping, I walked outside without shoes. Like
Listen,
I love walking like with my feet in the grass or sand or dirt. Like I love that. Twigs.
Millions
okay.
of Belizeans
hmm
can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, look, when you say millions
It
of
actually
Belizeans,
like
like
it neutralizes the negative ions in your body. Like it grounds
before
you.
what I can tell you is
Literally.
this: I was in Belize before the pandemic, and I didn't see a lot of barefoot people running around. Like, I know that when I was there as a child, that happened, and I tried to do it, and I was like quickly reminded of why I wear shoes as a child.
Look, that's
Now, as an adult, I don't see no barefoot Belizeans running around anywhere in the cities that I was in. Now, maybe out in the jungle somewhere that's different, but I doubt it because I'm like, cats understand. It's like, dude, like, it's like stuff is jagged out there.
Yeah, but
And
you
it's like,
build
and it's like, well, yeah, you build callus if that's what you were grown up in. That's what you like. If that's how you were raised, then sure, you build a callus.
I forget that's how I was raised. So.
But if you weren't raised that way, it's like, dude,
I step on glass and it doesn't pierce.
Why? Like, Shauna has a wardrobe. Like, when she decided to go on that trip, she found an outfit. And I'm like, it's not like she was like, I gotta go to the store. Like, she has that in a trunk somewhere that she put on and was like, well, I'm gonna go into society, so I need to wear clothes. And it's like, my dude, like commit or don't commit.
Different outfits, different moods, especially for women.
But I'm not saying that she needs to dress.
It's like you don't have just one outfit. You dress differently when it's hot, and you dress differently when it's cold. Just like Shauna, she dresses differently when she's in the trees, differently when she's in the streets.
What I'm saying is, listen, what I know is
let the girl have her armoire.
No, she can do whatever she wants to do, but what you can't convince me of is that it makes more sense to not wear shoes on paved concrete than it does in friggin' raw jungles. And so,
isn't she swinging everywhere mostly anyway?
Yeah,
it don't matter, man. She got to walk at some point. Tree line, like deforestation,
this is a weird hang-up.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say, and I don't say that about most of your hang-ups, but this one is weird.
It's like he's more disturbed by that than us not liking that black lady witch story. That's not black.
She's not black.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I feel like she's been inauthentic, and that bothers me because I'm just like,
she's authentic about the things that matter, like saving orangutans.
She's about that orangutan.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fair. I like, and that's fair. So, I'm just saying, like,
I will say, I hate to cut the Shauna talk short, but we should rate this book.
Yeah,
because we got two other things to talk about.
You're right.
In the next 18 minutes.
Oh, geez. Wow. Okay. So, Moses Magnum, what would you rate Women of Marvel #1 for 2022?
This is a 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Shauna. Yeah, no, I love women. Like, everybody should own one. But
wow,
that's like that one book where it's like male slaves have no value. Like, only the females are like worth owning. And then if they misbehave, they like cut their tendons.
Sheesh. I don't know what book you're talking about, but I don't want to know. Oh. So Moses says a 2.
It's pretty hot.
No. Moses says a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2. It's not because I hate women. I don't hate women. Like, if you want to read a Women of Marvel book, read Becky Cloonan's Punisher. It's not about it's not a female character, but a female writer writing a male character in a way that only a female would see him, which is a man's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you go a woman going on a blind date. A man's a fucking monster. You don't know what the fuck he's gonna do, And it's that sensibility and that, you could tell she likes the Punisher, but that I don't know how intentional that perspective was, but that like they talk about him like he's fucking Michael Myers, and it's amazing. I love it.
Okay, Jay, what would you rate Women of Marvel #1?
I would give it a 4. Like, I don't know. Honestly, like, before you guys hated on it, I was probably going to give it a 3. But I don't know. Something about defending it has made me appreciate it more.
Yeah, you got to give him a good slap in the ass, and, you like it.
No, see, this guy.
But I wish the art were a little better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded if the people on the cover were in the book.
Amen.
Like, God knows it's been way too long since I got a good Jubilee story.
Amen to that.
But yeah, overall, I liked it, and I like the stories, but I really like all the ancillary stuff,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
amazing. Like, that alone was worth the 3.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. And so for me, I would give the book a 3.5. Oh,
No,
he's
your
gone.
puppy's distracting me.
Sorry.
It's okay. The puppy's awesome.
It's
But
too
no,
adorable.
It's got to
three-
take a shit.
There it is. No, 3.5, because I agree with you. Like the ancillary stuff, like the interviews and all that kind of stuff was awesome, and I really enjoyed reading that. Like, you know, the forward and everything. The stories unfortunately weren't as strong, but some of them were. Like I did like the Squirrel Girl, Black Widow story. I did like, um, or I guess I should say, I appreciated the Shauna story more so for the Silver Sable stuff. And I did like the Jessica Jones story, even though the same criticisms that Mo gave it, I agree with. And it was like, I was definitely like, I felt that 100%, where it's like, oh man, like this is not what Jessica Jones looks like in like the 616 right now. You
But
know?
they got the Purple Man, right?
Okay, that's fair.
One
Which I
panel.
was glad. I was glad they didn't make him look like from the TV show.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 because I think it's definitely worth checking out. But just know that, you know, every story's not gonna hit with you, and you know, probably. And you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a part of it is about being a dude, but I think part of it is definitely just about being a comic reader and like what you might expect. Because like I feel like there are women that will read this and be like, I don't know. And I do feel like the talent pool, unfortunately, wasn't as deep as it should be, because I feel like somebody might not have been trying hard enough to find like the people that that should have been in this book for 2022. Maybe the pandemic is a part of that too, though. You know, and I'll give them that.
Look,
You know,
I
it's like it
think
might have been harder to shop talent when there were no conventions and all that kind of stuff. So who knows?
who knows? Look, it may be nepotism. Maybe somebody knows somebody. You know. But either way, they're not bad. Like the stories are structured fine. They're just not that great. Like, you know, especially when you see like Marvel, the shit Marvel's been putting out some pretty solid stuff, and even DC. Like,
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
sleeping on it. Like every time I read a DC book, I feel like I've been sleeping on DC. Like they're putting out good
No,
shit.
absolutely. No,
Yeah,
absolutely. There's
so
a lot of good stuff out there from the big
it's
two.
a letdown that it isn't, especially when you're trying to do something for a theme of the month. Like,
Yeah.
fucking give me something fucking that's gonna be like wow, you know, because there's
Yeah.
stuff, you know, in metal you feel it like a lot because it's a sausage fest, and it's like sometimes a different perspective brings you something that you never heard before, and you know, it's all welcome. And if you can
Right.
change, like give a breath of fresh air to the comics by bringing in nothing but women, like that's gonna be your shot. Take that
You're
shit,
right.
you know.
Yeah, absolute. So, you know, hopefully 2023 will be better, but we'll see.
Who
So
knows?
let's move on.
Yeah, let's talk about the nice house on the lake.
Were we supposed to read all 7 of them?
You don't have to. It's
Okay,
more
good.
about, you know, what you
Were
wanted
we
to read.
supposed to read
Like,
the first one?
well, yeah, you definitely should have read at least the first
Oh
one.
man, I'm kidding.
I actually did get a chance to read all 7.
Oh, look. Yeah. All of a sudden, somebody has time for something other than TV.
So, Jay, what'd you think?
I take the show very seriously.
I'm glad to hear that.
When he's not
What did I
playing
think?
Final Fantasy. Yeah, what do you think?
I think I would have rather watched the movie.
Like a movie about this, or you mean like
Yeah.
a different movie?
No, like this would be a lot better condensed down to like an 88-minute movie.
Let me ask
give
you
or
this question:
take.
should it be a movie or should it be a miniseries?
I prefer a movie so it'll end shorter. Like there honestly just is. There's not a lot going on right now,
Okay.
and it's not great. Like it's very generic, and
Okay.
it tries to hide that behind a stylized art style that's not great. Um, and the characters keep talking to me, and I don't think I appreciate it because I don't know where I am in the story that they're talking to me.
Now, when you say the characters keep talking to you, you mean like first person or like wall or fourth wall breaking kind of stuff, where like they're looking into the camera talking to you, right?
Yeah,
Got it.
like I'm not hearing voices yet, but yeah, it's like okay. I told you guys recently that I recently reread Gingerbread Girl, and the entire book is like that with people talking to you like directly, like you're part of the audience, like you're there. It gives it a very voyeuristic feel that I didn't feel on the first time I read it, but I felt it this time. And
Okay.
it's like I know where I am in that story. Like I'm
Okay.
stalking this girl and having conversations about her with the random people I pass.
Okay.
And this, they'll just be on a boat talking to me for some reason, and I'm
Mhm.
not there. I don't have a symbol. So it's like, yeah, like what's going on? Like, or maybe I do have a symbol and he made me forget.
Mm,
Like,
that could be so.
maybe.
Look, by the time you get to issue 12, you might be like mind blown. You're like, man.
Dude, I'm tempted to not go that far. Like, I might just read the synopsis after it's finished. Like, I'm not sure I want to keep doing this. Like,
That's
and
fair.
and it's really dragged out. They're really dragging everything out, which is
Okay.
part of the reason why I like the 90-minute movie to just kind of trim the fat. And also, if it's a movie, I could be on my phone during like the slower parts, which you can't really do with the comic.
Wait, are you in movie theaters on your phone when they get slow?
No, you ass. When I watch a movie at home, I'm on my phone.
Why am I an ass? You're the one on the phone in the movie.
Oh, he called
I'm
you by your
saying,
middle name, Larry Ass Young.
I'm saying, you know how I feel about phones in theaters. Like,
That's why I was so shocked.
you know, I hate it. Like, even the people that bring their phones out during the credits, like, I'm like, just fucking leave. Like, I don't want to see that shit. And I fucking hate that they have video games that the AR games is like anything that encourages you to bring your phone out when you're in a movie theater is the fucking devil. And
Hey, don't put that on us, man.
no, it's you.
No, that's look. Half of those
But-
motherfuckers are wearing crucifixes. Don't give me that shit.
But yeah, if I was at home watching it on Amazon, I could be on my phone on Pinterest during the like slow parts.
Got it.
And,
Okay.
And yeah, it's drawn out, and there's not a lot we get. There's not a lot we get.
Okay.
Like you have these like punctuation points where it's like, oh, that's kind of cool, but then that's like one thing in like 3 issues where if I hadn't bought the trade, like I'm not sure I would have kept buying them. But I bought the trade and I bought the current issue at the same time before I knew how bad it was. And I'm kind of happy about the 7th one because we finally get some nudity, which is awesome. But it's in that bad art style, so it's like it's kind of hot, but not really. But I mean, tits are tits, so
But are they?
And I will say, issue 7 is where it's the new arc. So there's a status quo shift for
Right.
issue 7 that actually is pretty interesting.
Right.
It's like there's little tidbits of interesting throughout.
But it's only interesting if you read the first 6 issues, right?
Oh yeah, like if you wouldn't even notice if you just read the 7th.
Right.
Like
Okay.
Yeah. And like the art too is like that, where like every once in a while there'll be like a decent panel or a decent image, and you're like, man, why is this so sparse? Why is there so little glue to stick this together? Like, why am I supposed to do all this work to try and enjoy this book? Like, I feel they should be given like some back a little. And I mean, yeah, we get a little, and I don't know if we talked about what this is about yet. Like, you asked my
We
impression.
definitely have it. We're just talking about initial impressions, but don't get me wrong, Jay. Like, like you can. Well, like, do you want to hold there and I get impressions from Mo real quick?
Yeah, let's get impressions from Mo.
Mo's asks, how far did you read into this joint, and what were your thoughts?
I just read the first issue, and
That's okay.
It was a good starting point from the first issue. I don't get a sense of how bad it is hearing Jill talk about it, but I did enjoy it, and I like the idea. They took some artistic decisions, like when she just hit him, and it's like a weird. I don't know if she broke his head or it was a hologram or liquid metal or what, but it was just odd, and I like the concept. Even just how it starts, like you see her in her post-apocalyptic like get up, narrating how she met him, and then narrating how this played out is good. Like that, those first 4 pages sucked me in perfectly. So
Mo, you're gonna want to keep that scene in mind.
Okay,
you're gonna want to remember that scene.
Where she hits him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what happens right after that? You're gonna want to keep that in mind.
So, feeling what you felt, Joe, you think I should keep reading?
I feel like not everyone is going to have an issue with the pacing that I had.
Okay.
I might even keep reading it myself just to see if it gets better.
So by hearing that, I can tell you the whole series is a 5 out of 5 now. I'm kidding. No, it's just like I read the first issue and I'm like, I knew, in getting this new puppy, I didn't have time. I procrastinated in my reading, and that's why I signed on late too, because I did it all in the last minute. And I didn't want to, but that's the way my day worked out.
It's what happens, man. Life happens.
Yesterday I ended up filming a review unboxing, which will be here tomorrow morning. If you subscribe, like, and hit the bell, you'll get that. And so it took me 7 hours to edit that whole video, and it's only 7 minutes long, so an hour a minute. If I get paid for this, yeah. But I knew, like, once I just looking at the cover that I would. If I would have started reading this on Saturday, I would have just kept reading, and it feels like a story that I would like from the first issue. So I'm gonna give it, depending on how much time I have, I'm gonna try and keep reading it, and see what Jay's talking about. Because
I think part of my issue, or part of what's happening with me, is I watch a ton of horror movies. And so I've seen this particular concept done a bunch of times.
Right. Because even Bird Box is kind of like this too, right?
I didn't get to see that one.
Wait, so
Mixed reviews.
this is a story that happens in a lot of horror movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Someone
Langoliers is kind of like this too, right?
Yeah. But yeah, people being trapped in some place. Like, there's a movie specifically, it's about these people that go vacation at a cabin, and then when they try to leave, they get transported back to the cabin.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like that's the situation. There's another movie where they're checking out a house and the food refills itself every day so that they can eat, like they don't starve, but they can't leave. Like every time they try to leave, they end up right back at the house.
We watched that movie that we reviewed during quarantine, Larry. The movie where the people they grew up in a cult and they go back, and once they go back, they can't get back out again.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
That's kind of like that. And then
I don't know. I don't feel like that's the same, but
It's
I
like-
feel you.
no. Well, the destruction of the rest of the world is the other aspect of
Gotcha.
it.
But
But
trust me, I could get you a whole playlist
look,
of movies like this.
I can get you the best movie in that genre ever made, and it's In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter. Like that movie's, I love that.
What's it
fucking movie.
about?
It's about a guy that goes to town and he can't leave, and then when he when he leaves, he realizes that the world's destroyed, and he's been watching a movie the whole time in the theater of himself,
But-
of his life.
I feel like that's not the same story though.
It's
It's not the same story, but it's the genre that like that trap while everything falls apart around you.
Yeah, but that's, for me, the singular experience is a lot different than the group experience.
Yeah.
Like
And-
enough to like switch the genre, like flip that.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying by any means that this story is like 100% unique, because I don't believe that. But I do think that it has like it has enough of its own take on things that it kind of separates itself. Like
No,
I don't feel.
I'm not saying, when I say it's the same or the same premise, I'm not saying it's 100% word for word. Like, no, everyone has a
Right,
different
no.
reason. Everyone, like, they all have different reasons when they bother to come up with them in the first place. And different, like, the minor.
Like I
shit,
feel
what
like
am I
I feel like
trying
the
to
way
say?
you all
Let me rewind and say, yeah, a lot of them play out a little differently. They have different reasons. Like about a
I feel like
third
the
of
way
them
you all
is
are
because
talking
the
about
people are
it.
dead already, and they're in
Right, I feel
purgatory
like-
and don't know it.
Right, right. Like I feel like the way you're talking about this is almost like it's a genre, and
It
I'm
is.
like,
Well, I think of it
Well,
as a genre,
well, but I
a
I don't know.
subgenre, I should say.
Well, but I don't know that even is there a subgenre of people that have to live together in the apocalypse?
Like I said, sometimes it's not the apocalypse, sometimes it's purgatory.
Well, but that's different.
Not enough to switch the genre.
Absolutely. Because
No,
if they're in
you're wrong.
purgatory, they're already dead. Right?
Yeah, but how does that change the interactions between the people?
Well, in one interaction, they're all alive, and in another interaction, they're all dead. Like that's significant.
How? Like what
Well,
what changes?
life versus death.
Like, how does that change the story?
If people know they're alive versus when they know they're dead, that's a whole different genre.
Whoa, who said they know they're dead? No one said. You're making assumptions. The purgatory ones are 90. I would go ahead and say 100% of the time they don't know they're dead until the end of the movie.
Okay,
That's where the mystery is. That's why you're supposed to think, whoa, why are they stuck there? Why are they, oh, it's purgatory because they're dead and it's revealed at the end, and there's normally a shadow or a light that comes and eats everyone who's remaining. And it's like they're stuck, they're living together, they don't know how to leave because they can't leave. And in a third of those movies, it's because they're already dead and they don't know it. Some of the movies, it's ghosts or just like mystical. Some movies, they don't bother explaining it because the point of the movie is the interaction between the characters in this fucked up situation. And that's what you have here. These characters are interacting in this fucked up situation. They know they're alive because it's not a purgatory story. It's an alien story.
Yeah, and
about
I feel
the
like
end
that's
of the world.
and I feel like that's different. Though.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
It doesn't.
Like
Watching my playlist, which I'm not going to put together because I'm lazy. But if you watched it, you would start to see all the similarities, and that the end result of what's happening outside of the area, almost doesn't matter.
And guess what? I like 100%. I will give you the fact that I feel like you're better versed in this whole thing than I am because you watch more movies in this vein than I do. But I
You know
guess
what the thing is too? They're not gory, so I can make you watch them, but I'm not going to.
What I will say about this book, from just reading one issue, is that the motivations of the dude trapping them here is interesting to me. Like, why did he pick them? And that's what really like that, because he even says like after a while you're gonna see you're gonna thank me and I love you.
like
like
the motivations are 100% benevolent.
Yeah, so
which is messed up because, and don't get me wrong, that's not saying they're right, they're twisted, but it's like the twisted, like it's because the person that's making the decisions isn't like they're not a person, so they don't understand.
And I don't know about the genre that Joe talked about, but
I like how much he loves them. Like it's so pure.
It is. It's
he's
very
like, he's good people.
Honestly, I really think that's the driving point of this series is that.
But you're right, and here's the thing.
But I haven't read any of it. Just the first issue.
Right, and that's the whole point where it's like he's not good people because he's not people. Because if he was a person, he would understand why this is wrong.
When we say he's good people, we're not trying to be exclusionist, ableist assholes. So we're counting all the aliens and the demons and we're being inclusive, like we're being allies. Like
I already said it's a benevolent. I already said it's benevolent, but what I'm saying is benevolent isn't the same thing as like being like, oh no, he's a good person. It's like, no, he's not a good person. He's a bad person. And that's the thing. But personhood is a different thing than being benevolent. Like, I'm not saying that the intentions aren't good. The intentions are 100% good. But if this
how far did you read? Just curious. I don't think we brought that.
No, I read all 7 issues as well.
I think
did you buy the trade or did you buy individually?
No, I read individually.
Have you been reading this the whole time?
Yeah.
What? Why didn't you say anything?
Like, he could have been doing one shots for all of these.
What do you mean?
We know Tinian is like, we think he's adequate. Like, you could have brought it up.
Listen, this is not the first time that I've mentioned The Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you mentioned a horror book to me that you were into,
I didn't call it a horror book.
I would have read it.
In Larry's defense, I know for a fact he mentioned it to me about 2 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he say it was horror?
He did. He said, like, he didn't say it was horror per se. He said it's like, if you like horror comics, this might be for you. It's kind of horror-y, kind of not.
When I mentioned it to Mo,
tell me
that's true, and I'm not saying that. I'm pretty sure when issue 1 came out, I was like, oh, this might be something that's worth reading. And then when issue 2 came out, I read that one, and I'm pretty sure that's when I mentioned it to the forum, because I was like, hey, this is a good book. And like I just brought it up. It might be worth talking about. But it's like at the
I had to
time.
find it through looking through my store, through my local comic book store, and seeing the cover.
Well, but when you say that, you mean like after I mentioned it, like we should read it, right?
No, like just looking through the store at books that came out.
Oh, how long ago?
I saw it a while ago, like maybe even when it first came out. Like I put it in my wish list.
Oh, okay. No. I mean, I've been reading it, so it's like I was here, like I've been waiting for the whole hiatus and all that kind of stuff. Like I was reading it regularly.
Oh,
so,
I definitely would have lost interest at a hiatus.
Well, that's fair. But so no, I was reading, like I was here, like I read the cliffhanger from issue 6 to 7, and why I brought it back up again is because
that's not a cliffhanger. That's an ending. They could have ended it there.
At issue 6?
Yeah, that would have been fine. I mean, except for the titties, but which I appreciate.
But at the end, if I'm not mistaken,
at the end of 6, they're all in the house doing their normal morning routine, and Artist is there, and they're basically all acting like he's always been there.
Right, but that's a big deal because
it's a satisfying ending.
Why is that a satisfying ending?
Because they lost. And at the end of the world, they couldn't stop it. Like, they're going to live in their dreamland forever.
Spoilers.
Well, that's the 6. 7 happens, so that's not what... There's a chance they might win.
Yeah, the joint is 12 issues, so,
Jesus, 12 issues. No, I'm sorry. That was over-exaggerated. So I'm glad it's going to end, because with the end in sight, I could see myself finishing it. But if he was just going to keep making issues and 15 and 26 and I'm not hanging around that long.
I do give him props though, because he's got a lot of books out at the same time.
He does. But you understand,
the man is great, kind of like I don't know. Some of his shit really resonates with me, and some of his shit is The Nice House on the Lake.
Wow, dang, Jay is so hardcore with. Now you understand that, from issue 1, the symbols for each character, where you talk about the artist or the PR person or whatever, right? It's each symbol features a person. You see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it basically equals it's I don't know that they're I guess I haven't counted them myself, but I'm pretty sure there's 12 symbols under there. So it's each issue features a different person. And so it kind of it shows you from the beginning, okay, no, there's a structure here. We're gonna follow this.
I do feel like he's plagiarizing Riley Martin. Riley Martin's a dude that got abducted by aliens when he was 8 and later in life, and they used him to breed and make a hybrid race. They call Beavians, and he was sent back to Earth. He was Beavians, and he was sent back to Earth to warn everybody about everything. And he had he could read your aura and draw you a symbol, and that was your ticket to be saved from the destruction of the planet. And you pay him $40 and he draws you a symbol.
Now,
well, on the more important things, Mo,
No, but that's the thing. This is like kind of a robbery of this man's life.
Well,
Well,
Nah,
I don't
from
know
the
if I would call
symbol
it.
aspect.
I wouldn't
But
call it a
well,
robbery.
he's dead now,
but
so he can't do anything about it.
but I could definitely see how this story could be inspired by that 100%.
I don't know. I haven't read enough of it to see like what it is or what these aliens look like.
have you read enough to be annoyed with how the page aspect keeps changing?
I read it digitally and it didn't bother me because
It bothered me.
my screen's already at like 4:3, so it can do 16:9 easily and 4:3 easily. So I don't.
Like what was the big deal? Like what happened?
Because there's like too many 2-page spreads.
Yeah,
It's like I have to zoom in, and he does it all the time.
and that's the problem. Like you have to zoom in. With this screen, you don't have to zoom in. The 2-page spread, even in portrait mode, the 2-page spread fits adequately, and if you flip it, it's like perfect.
Hey man, buy physical comics. How about that?
No, fuck that. There's a paper shortage, and we're trying to protect the orangutan.
Look, here's the thing. The reason I don't have that Aladdin book to show you and tell you what it is because I had it physically.
Yeah.
If I had it digitally, I could go to my tablet, bring it up, say, here, it's got a little white girl, Tigra, Storm, Wasp, and She-Hulk.
That's so crazy.
He's right.
I don't even
He's got a point.
I don't think he has a point.
He does.
No.
You're set in your old ways, and that's why you're gonna die, and we're gonna have symbols, and we're gonna live on.
He can scan it.
He didn't have a scanner back then.
No, I didn't.
Well,
Scanners didn't exist back then.
Look, he had a TurboGrafx 16. He could have scanned stuff. That's what I know.
Like
It was just the same technology.
Look, he could have used his Game Boy camera, but
Right.
the Game Boy
There
camera
it
would have
is.
turned her into a black girl.
Wow. Wait, what?
The Game Boy camera is pretty bad.
Black girl. Wait, is that a bad thing?
Well, no, because it's just two colors. It's like everything. There's no like definition of contrast.
Oh,
So,
dude,
do we
it's
have
so
more to
messed
say
up.
about this book?
I give it a 4. That's it. And like I feel like my 4 means nothing because I do feel like after I was done, I'm like, fuck, I should have read this on fucking Saturday. Because I know I need to read about 3 or 4 to
Dude,
really like
I
have an
promise
opinion.
you, I will tell you, Moses, you should read this book. I feel like you
No,
in particular
I know
would
I
really
like
like it. Like I feel like it's 100%. Like it feels
Yeah.
like it feels like a book that would have come out on Vertigo. To me,
Yeah, no, definitely. Like this book, just from the art and the pacing, the issues that Joe has with pacing, that's like, I read Sandman, I'm in. Yeah, like DC Black is really that, and that's one of the things I was thinking about today. It's like DC Black is really like the new Vertigo, and aside from not showing me Batman's penis, like they're really not.
what?
I'm
Which is
still
what
mad
Mo
about
really
that.
wants.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that's what Jay wants to.
I'm just
More
sickened
bad
by
penis.
the anti-Semitism in this world that they feel they have to censor that.
Like, I like them more when they're not in real life. Like, when they're not walking around me.
Look, try look. You're gonna feel bad when a naked dude at the gym locker room tells you "nice catch" when you catch something, and like my water bottle fell and I caught it, and then the naked dude's like, "Nice catch." Yeah, I'm like, dude, don't. Like, I'm supposed to pretend you don't
Look.
exist right now. Like, don't talk to me. Well,
Here's
put
the
on some
thing.
pants and then say "nice catch."
If it's in a gym, I get that. Like,
Yeah,
I
get it.
really do get
But-
that. I just don't
But that's the thing,
understand
it's-
why in a shared space where you're living, like, why can I be in the kitchen cooking and I see you walk out with your dick hanging out, like, getting pretty close to me because your door is by the kitchen? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a homophobe or a dickphobe, but I like dicks when they're in the media.
Yeah, no,
Like,
you're not a homophobe, and you're a dude that has boundaries, and that's it. It's a health issue because you don't want to, like, if his dick decides to sneeze, you don't want to catch COVID.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Listen. Wait, who needs to
Like, put a
rate?
mask on that thing. Like, you can't even
Who
really
needs
like
to?
see somebody without a mask.
Who
Technically,
who else needs to rate it? Who else needs to rate the book?
the guy
I'm gonna
that's
give
living
The
in Joe's
Nice
house.
House on the Lake a 3.
Okay.
Mostly it doesn't work, but there are points where it does. Like, I like the straight razor. I wish it had been more graphic, but I did enjoy that. I enjoyed that. And there's like a couple other things. Like, it's just getting a 3. And I will 5 more fucking months, man.
If they don't go on hiatus,
Okay. Oh, they better not. Shit.
there is a
No,
paper shortage.
I've decided to finish it. I'm gonna subscribe after the show. Actually, they don't offer subscriptions, so
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Lawrence is gonna have to remind me when it comes out.
Like, I wish
Okay.
DC Black would be like, give us $30 a month and you get everything we put out each month.
Oh, I wouldn't complain nearly as much about them if
Like,
that were
that'd
the
be-
case.
I mean, that'd be a good, like, because they put out what, 4 books a month, 6 books a month.
I don't know.
Yeah, like,
That's
I
an
mean,
odd
they know,
question.
but they really know how many they're gonna do a year. You know, about a year in
Probably.
advance. You know, they might not. If they add new book or they sign somebody else, they can give subscribers an option. Like, hey,
I don't want to be flooded with Harley Quinn though.
But the thing is, everything only lasts. Like, the majority of everything only lasts about 3 issues or 4 issues. So,
Like, when the fuck do we get our Green Lantern Black Label book?
Not gonna happen.
yeah, nobody wants that.
No,
Oh,
you're
I
wrong
mean,
because
I'd
I
read
want
it.
it. Like,
Yeah,
I'd read it.
I just said that. Like,
yeah.
I want that. I want a Black Label Green Lantern book.
You had it and you didn't read it.
Which one was? Oh, the Morrison one.
Yeah, that's your Black like that was your Vertigo Green Lantern. Like,
Meh.
and nobody liked it.
But that joint was terrible though.
It
There
wasn't
weren't no
terrible.
titties in
It was
that.
awesome. Yeah, there were. It was digital
it-
titties,
No, it wasn't good.
and it was only digital titties because it wasn't on Black Label.
There you go. Let's
If
give
you
me
would've
some
had-
Green Lantern titties.
I love the
Okay,
guy with
so
the titties
listen.
on his face in
Diabolical.
Diabolical. Yeah,
Wait, say that again?
the guy
Wait,
with the
no,
titties on his
listen.
face.
Hold on. I'm gonna give the Nice House on the Lake
Oh, we don't have time for that, Larry.
a 4.5 out of 5 because I like it and it was cool to me. But that's neither here nor there. Should we keep talking and talk about the Boys Diabolical, or do we need to hold
I
it?
feel like we should hold that till next week.
Yeah,
I'm
gotta
down for
work
that.
in the morning.
people figure we're gonna lie to them on the thumbnail.
If I had sick days, it would be good. Like,
If
I could keep going, but
we can. It's okay.
I'm out
We
of
can
sick
like
days.
right. We're like a half an hour, almost a half hour beyond. So we'll talk about it next week. We'll
Can I
bring
do a
it to
quick
you.
mode deal?
Of course, absolutely.
Play that
Go
mode
for
deal
it.
music while I share the screen.
all right.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
More money, more money, more money, more money.
Dollar.
So yeah, Humble Bundle's doing oh man, that's not the page. Hold on. Did it go back? Oh no. Yeah, Humble Bundle is doing Leading Ladies. And they're celebrating female for Women's Month. They're giving you a 66 books as you saw me scroll. Everything from like every saga out, every monstrous bitch planet. I Hate Fairyland, Paper Girls, Lady Mechanica, Rat Queens, Blue Monday, Joe. I know you lost.
Ooh, I love me some Blue Monday.
Yeah, they got all the Blue Monday right there. They got Fair Lady. We talking about Bitch Planet.
Now, Humble Bundle, I can't, like, if I buy that, then I need my own comic reader, right?
More or less. I mean, if you have a tablet, your tablet should have a reader. But that's the beauty of this, because this gives you get right here, Joe. If you can see my cursor, you get a PDF of CBZ, Mobi, and PRC. These are all different types of file formats. PDF is the easiest one. You can read that right on your browser, or you know, if you got Adobe or whatever, you know, like any mobile device will read it now. So you get the PDF or these. I usually do CBC because I do have a reader. My iPad has a CBZ reader, and the quality, the colors and everything is just so vibrant. On PDF is good too, but you know, Larry won't tell the difference, but you and I can. But yeah, it'll be helping the Hero Initiative, which is Hero Initiative for us is important because a lot of our favorite comic dudes. I mean, we just had that story with George Perez. He was in hospice about to die, and miraculously, because of some donations, some in part by the Hero Initiative, was able to pay for hospice care and got better. So he's not dying just yet, which puts my where's my comic I have right here?
I know I do all my comic buying is through Amazon.
Right.
So it's like I would love it if I could just buy through Amazon.
Well, here's the thing.
Or,
if you
so
like,
that
where
I
do
can
you
read them on my Comixology reader.
Okay, you want your Comixology reader. Yeah, that's the problem right there. But if you
Yeah.
have an Amazon device, they read PDFs. You can just put it on a SanDisk card and read it right off on the same reader where you read your Comixology apps. But I you know, and that's the problem with Amazon again, man. If you could just import your shit into their program the way iTunes did with music,
That would be amazing.
Yeah, but they're scared of that. But yeah, Wayward's another really good one, and you know, $30 for 66 trade paperbacks. Yeah, it's a lot
I
of
would pay $30 for Blue Monday alone.
Yeah, well, you won't have to. It comes free with your new car.
Oh, nice.
Because that's where I've been storing them for the last 10 years. I know you hate physical, but you're gonna be getting that. I was cleaning it out and I said, oh shit, Blue Monday's here. Yeah, you're gonna get physical copies of Blue Monday when you get your car.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, man,
Blue Monday is awesome. Just say that from experience. I hate Fairyland. Amazing start to finish, and the little bonus stories are awesome.
Yeah.
This bundle looks amazing. Like I've been wanting to get into Paper Girls.
Saga alone is worth the $30. You know, 9 trade paperbacks of Saga. But Paper Girls that's Brian K. Vaughan too, with Cliff Chang and Matt Wilson. The one I wish they had here was I wish they had Pretty Deadly. That's another really good psychedelic. I guess it falls under the category of acid western. But yeah, it's a western comic that's fucking trippy, and I wish that was here, but it didn't make.
It'd be nice if Pretty Violent was there too. I think that's an Image book.
Yeah, I don't know Pretty Violent.
I
recognize all.
I'll let you borrow it. Oh shit! They got Skater. Go Down. Street Angel.
Oh yeah, they got that too.
Street Angel's awesome.
Yeah,
man, so good, so classic.
Yeah,
I love how in their world pirates are stronger than ninjas, but ninjas have better PR. That's why everyone thinks they're better.
Mirror is a book I never heard of, and it's written by Emma Rios. Emma Rios was one of the collaborators on Pretty Deadly too. So And they got Humble Heroines, which is another one, but I guess that's for video games. But 7
I
games.
kind of want to learn Unity.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another Mo deal for you. You're doing, again, you save money on a bunch of comics and your money goes to a good cause. That's not a deal. That's a Mo deal.
Amen.
I had to make the tagline because that's what they pay me for.
There it is. That's why you get the big bucks, Mo.
Yeah, that's why I don't know what gas price is.
Right. That's why he's Money Magnum. He's like, oh, y'all are here worrying about gas? I'm out here buying puppies.
From a breeder.
This fool got a certificate of authenticity. Okay, so yeah.
Not only that, I paid to have their parents euthanized so that there's no more of them for you.
Such a bastard for saying.
I know.
It's so funny, man. It's so
I'm a
funny.
son of a bitch.
I paid to have their parents euthanized, so there's no more. Okay, listen. So this is the end of the show.
Let's hit that wrap up music.
Yeah, please. And folks, for those of you that were hoping to hear about the Boys Diabolic, we apologize. We will bring it to you next week, probably with jobless reincarnation and some other stuff. Like we'll confirm that on our Facebook group, which you should be a part of if you're not a part of that already. But yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, Jay, give us some final thoughts, buddy.
Okay, so if you're Nintendo, I guess you care about like what the fuck is going on in the world more than you care about your customers. So they're delaying Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp because of the world issues or whatever the fuck. And it's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was kismet that I even knew this thing existed. And then you're just saying like, no, fuck you, Jay. Fuck
this
you.
whole time, I thought Putin was the villain, and it turns out to be Nintendo.
It is Nintendo.
That's
like,
some
I need
Sony
something
shit,
that
too.
I need stuff to get my mind off the war. And you're like, I need catharsis. Like, this was going to be my catharsis. The same way that The Division was my catharsis at the start of the pandemic, because I could go like the pandemic and I could just shoot people in hoodies and just go nuts. And
The
that
black,
was,
aka
that
the
was
black
my
hoodies.
catharsis. And now they're taking away my Ukraine catharsis. And it's just, dude, Nintendo is just like, we are the real victims here.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jay. Jesus. Well, listen. Well, here's
It's
the messed
funny
up
because
part.
it's not true.
Here's the messed up part. I agree 100% with Joe's premise. His delivery, however, not so much. But Jay's right. Like, why? Like, no. Like, if you're getting bombed in the Ukraine, you don't care about whether Advance Wars is coming out or not. And everybody else in the world shouldn't care if Advance Wars comes out or not. But Jay. Ugh.
Well, I'm mad people don't give a shit about Taiwan or Tibet, but they give a fuck about Ukraine.
Look,
I
care
that's a whole
as
different
much,
thing.
I care as much about Taiwan as the Taiwanese do.
Whoa, what does that mean?
They hate it.
No, they're fine. Like, your average Taiwanese person doesn't care. Like,
that's not true.
I don't know if I believe that, Jay.
Well, I saw a news report and they asked them what they thought about China, and they were like, as long as they stay over there.
Yeah. It was on CCTV.
No.
Okay, Mo, give us your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Hey, check out the snazzy shirt. This will give you some catharsis if you're worried about Ukraine. Wear this shit, and yeah, if you buy this, Larry can not have to look for work for another 2 months. So go
It's
buy
true.
it. Fantasticforum.live is where the merch button is, and you can get this cool weathered style and other styles, or you can get a coffee mug. You can get
Listen, I've been looking at your shirt all show, Mo. I'm like,
It's
dang, I
pretty
want
good,
one
huh?
of those.
Wait,
Yeah.
we have coffee mugs?
Yeah, you got coffee mugs, we got mouse pads, we got
Listen, we got all types of stuff that you and I don't have, Jay. Like you would have thought that somebody would have given us like the proofs or something, but nah.
Is the link in this? Is
Well,
the
I
link on
actually
Fantastic
supported
Forum?
Larry. I actually bought it. Like I paid full price for
You
it.
supported Larry.
Yeah. It's
There
like,
it
yeah,
is.
don't give money to Ukraine. Give money to Larry.
I get to
So
keep
where can
my
we
phone
find-
on for one more month.
Fantasticforum.live. It should be like the 5th button down, the merch button. I would put it just straight to it, but it turns out we actually make content. So we want to deliver that too, because without the content, there's no mean shit. Yeah.
Right.
That's
But
I
no,
like it, even without the content.
Yeah, because you make
it's an amazing shirt though. Like I'm looking, like literally, Mo. I've been watching you wear it all show, and I'm like, man, that looks so good. Like I want a distressed Fantastic Forum tee.
Yeah.
Speaking of content, you can buy. I think our intro song "Onion" will be available on streaming soon.
Wait,
Oh,
our
good.
intro song is called Onion?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's because it's layered?
Well, because
No, that's
the more
because it's a fucked up way of saying opinion.
and the more you
Like,
get into
Some
it, the
people
more it
say
stinks.
onion instead of opinion. Like it's a popular thing to do. Not as much anymore, but
Now, how
Is it
much of that?
because-
Do we got to split that 4 ways, or do you get all that, Jay? That's so weird?
I don't know how to get it so that we split it, so that I will keep it, and I will tell you about it.
Thanks, Jay. The J Millions.
Yeah.
Jay's gonna be he's like, oh man, I got that Fantastic Four intro money.
Like it's been my live stream since I met Jay, so that we fucking race our yachts.
Jay's gonna be like, oh man, y'all don't get that Fantastic Forum intro residuals? Well, she's gonna be like, well, here's a distressed tea.
In the biopic of our lives, Jay will be played by Paul Giamatti.
Jay's like, oh yeah, y'all didn't get a piece of that? My bad.
Jay and I are
He's like-
gonna race Elon Musk to Mars.
He's like, how do y'all feel about? He's like, how do y'all feel about Korean barbecue? and I'll be like, I love Korean barbecue.
Like,
I
yeah,
love
but
it.
you
Thank
want,
you, Jay.
yeah, but
Thank
you,
you, Jay.
you want ribeye. You don't want that chicken thigh. Ribeye.
Nah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, I want that wagyu. So anyway, for the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We ran behind. We appreciate you being patient with us. We'll be back next week. Until then, we're gonna bring you the boys. We're gonna bring you some additional content that's gonna be awesome. So please bear with us. And until then, we're out. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.